Welcome everybody to today's stream. We continue where we left off on my CO2 Hero account here. It's already the second week of streaming this account. It's actually crazy. So day 14 and we are pushing the limits now, doing a lot of endgame stuff, obviously. And as always, if you have any questions, just ask. So with that much, let's start right into the game. So here I am looking for some mastery insights. So if you're wondering, I'm looking specifically for the mastery insights in Quarteria so that I can finally upgrade all my hero points mastery. So I'm looking for one here in Bloodstone, in, how's it called? Bloodtide Coast, that's how it's called. Where is it? Yeah, it's somewhere here, I think. And somewhere in the, yeah, here, this one. So I'm looking for the ones that you can just get from the open world, because they are very easy for me to get to, obviously. In Quarteria, it should not require any mounts to get to them. And I can unlock finally some more mastery lines, because you can see I'm already fully maxed out on some of them. And I really want to continue getting value from my experience so that I can, at some point, hopefully, get the advanced logistics to get the auto loot mastery, which is obviously otherwise very, very annoying. So let's get this one. Quite easy to get. Just climb up here. I also have the Springer, so should not be that much of a problem to get here. And like I said, it's Quarteria, so you should also be able to get there without any mounts. I'm just quite bad at jumping passes, even bad with the Springer, of course, as well. So just please let me up there. There we go. And then we go to, I think, 5 more that I don't have here on this account. So yeah, 5 more. That's not enough, sadly, to get auto loot, but it's at least in the right direction. So we will go to all of them, I guess. So we need another one in Sparklight Fen. Welcome everybody. Hope you had a nice day so far. And let's go. Where is it? It's a little bit sad you can't see it if you are not there yet, so you have to teleport there first. That's just how it goes. It's in the Shatter Cleft Hills. Where are the Shatter Cleft Hills? Where are they? Good question. Let's just copy the mastery, the point here. That's better, I guess, faster. Just paste it in chat. There we go. Okay, it's here. That's where we want to go. Just get us some mastery points. And hopefully, where is it? It'll be somewhere here, I guess. I was not there yet. That's why I don't see it on the map. That makes sense, Even though I have the full map explored, you don't have necessarily all the things unlocked already, so sometimes you just have to walk there. Yeah, exactly, that's what I meant. Welcome, Emil. Welcome. Hope you all had a nice day. Welcome, Yagi. Welcome. Yeah, just continue, get some mastery points here on this account. We really want to get the mastery unlocks, and sadly I can't get the easy ones. It's not enough to get only the easy ones, so I have to get at some point some achievements on top of that. But for now I have to live with not having auto loot for probably the whole stream again, which is quite annoying. I mean, I mentioned it last stream as well. I probably lost like a couple of gold by not getting the auto loot. So I have to like really concentrate, always pressing F. So we will try to get as many mastery points as possible. We have 6 now, so we can get this one and can finally continue with the advanced logistics. Very good. But we need to see 7 mastery points. I only have 1. I can get 4 more of the mastery insights, and after that I have to get a lot of the like general achievements, which I will get at some point. If you do it normally and don't play the story, you will get a lot of them from just doing the story on top of that as well. I'm not sure if I want to do that on this account just yet. So we will see. Maybe we have to do some jumping puzzles or some other, like maybe some bosses or something that can be a little bit more achievable, I guess. But we will see. One thing after the other. So my build, I have 2 builds that I play right now. I'm playing Celestial here. If I'm alone, I play Chaos, Illusions, and Mirage, full Celestial, Staff. And that's just very easy because then I can use my Celestial booster gear that I have, so this like exotic version here. If I in a group, then I swap to Heal Chronomancer, where I have also my somewhat hairier Celestial mix that I'm currently working on for full Celestial for Fractals, which I hopefully continue today with Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer. And I also try to have one for World vs. World that is a little bit gimmicky. We will get to that later, but yeah. Do you think Autoloot should be a core feature? Yes, I think so. I think Autoloot is such a like big upgrade to your account that it should be a core feature. And I also think that it is really like something that is quite hidden behind the mastery, you know? So it's not like something that you understand as a new player, or this is something that I have to go for, because it's like really hidden very deep in the mastery. And it's like the last thing that you unlock. And you have to really go over it to see, learn to automatically pick up loot. So you really have to read all the masteries to get to this, and the ones before that is really not that important. So it's actually should be a core. Yeah, I agree. Welcome, Katana. Welcome. What do you say to Norku armor with condition mimas? I think that is okay. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning you should start like with the gear that you have and slowly work from there. I think the best gear that you can get on a Condi Mirage is Viper if you're playing PvE, and if you're playing competitive modes, maybe Trailblazer or something like that. But everything else is like, if you're power focused, the power build, go for Berserker. If you're for a healer, go for Harrier. I think Celestial gear is only good in solo open world content. I would not really recommend going for Celestial if you don't have it from a booster gear, because in a lot of situations it's only good for open world solo content, which is not bad, don't get me wrong. But if you want to get into instance contents, it's not the best thing to get first. I think it's somewhere here, pretty sure. Okay. Welcome, Likely. Welcome. Yes, good to see you too. I'm doing good. We have a lot of Wizard's Vault stuff to spend today. We will do that as well, like getting some Mystic Coins and a lot of Mystic Clovers. I think I can purchase most of them. Yes, very good. You see, that's very nice. Like, let's get 20 Mystic Clovers. Bam, like that. Very easy. And we didn't even do the dailies yet, and not even the weeklies. So we can also get some Mystic Coins here. Which one is cheaper though? I guess this is good. Some Mystic Coins. How many do we get? 10. Okay, I always get 10. You can get more apparently. But now we're at 57, so we only need 20 more Mystic Clovers. And we can purchase 10 from the Fractal vendor. So we will be quite close to the maximum that we need for the legendary. So you will see how smart you can actually get Mystic Clovers nowadays. You don't really need to use the Mystic Forge at all to gamble, because this is somewhat RNG based, how much you will get. With this like guaranteed method that I'm using from the Mystic Clovers, from the vendors there, from some kind of achievements, from the reward tracks, and of course from the Wizard's Vault you actually get quite a lot of them. But more on that later. Which elite should I choose if I play Renren solo? I would say choose the one that you like. I think Renegade is the most aggressive one, works very well. If the easiest one is Herald, and the somewhat unkillable one is Vindicator. All three work perfectly fine in open world. It's not a big deal. Choose the one that you like. Welcome, Roaming Spirit. Welcome. Ritualist is somewhat good for World vs. World Condi builds, that is true, but I would not say for a new player go for Ritualist, because it's a gear stat that is quite punishing if you don't know what you're doing, because it's not as tanky as you might think, and it's in PvE only run on a couple of builds, so you will not necessarily get a lot of use out of it. And sometimes it's better to get, for example, Berserker gear, which you can run on like 10 different builds on a single class, whereas Ritualist gear is mostly only on one build per class. But in World vs. World, this is correct. It's of course a good choice. First time catching your stream. Just want to say you make great videos, and I can tell you put a lot of effort into and passion in it. Thanks. That's nice to hear. Yeah, glad you can see that, Tangerella. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Why do you play Staff? What does it change if you swap weapons? On my second, or both staffs actually, I'm running Energy Sigil. That means that when I swap weapons in combat, I get 1 dodge back, so I can use my ambush on Mirage directly again. Otherwise, it would not make that much sense. That is correct. So let's get the next mastery insight. Where is it? In Hidden Oroboom or something like that. Where is that? I guess somewhere here. Let's check. Always the wiki helps. Yeah, somewhere here, I guess. I thought so. Okay. You made a video previewing this not too long ago, but I was wondering if there was a value in a main hand sword. Any situation. You could argue main hand sword over dagger on Mesmer and Chrono. Yes. I think main hand sword on Mesmer, especially if you're playing on a support build, is very valid. Like, absolutely. You have an evade, which can be a nice defensive tool. You have a surprisingly good damage output if you're playing like a DPS build. And you have a boon removal on the auto attack, which is obviously also a good choice. It is overshadowed in terms of DPS by dagger. That is just straight up the case. Does it mean it's unplayable because of that? No. You should play it if you don't have access to dagger or if you just really dislike dagger. I would personally say, where is it? It has to be somewhere here, I guess. Yeah, so I would say choose the main hand weapon that you want. Especially on a heal chronomancer, you can go for sword, scepter, dagger. All of that works. Just choose the one that you think is the best for your playstyle. I personally like to learn dagger for some more AoE damage, but on a healer you really don't do that much damage anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Is it here? No, probably not. Maybe in here. Yeah, it looks like in here. They are quite hidden, I have to be honest. They are quite hidden. Yes, there it is. Hidden Urobon. Okay, apparently that's the correct location. There it is, up there. Very good. Have they fixed? I think they have fixed it, yes, with the Celestial only on this new gloves, yes. But will I get to those? Probably later today as well. I'm really quite close with it as well. I'm like 2 more or something of this like fractal achievements and then I'm there. So I will get the legendary gloves there as well. On this account, quite valuable, of course. My first, so to say, legendary item. So not bad, not bad. There we go. Let's continue, 3 more to go. And then we are almost done. Malkor's Leap is next. That one should be quite easy, to be honest. Paga Waypoint, yes. And it's at the south of it. Okay. In my opinion, better than Trailblazer because of the high boon duration. I think it depends on the build. Some builds like cannot use true boon duration at all. So for example, if you're running a Reaper or some kind of like Scourge in World vs. World, Ritualist is completely wasted in my opinion. But if you're playing like a Mirage or something like that, it's surprisingly good how much value you get from the boon duration. That is correct, Rome Expert. But I think you should always choose the one that is suited to your playstyle. So if you make a lot of builds that focus around having a lot of boons, then Ritualist might be a solid choice. But of course, if you're a Reaper and have almost no boons, then it's better to go and say, okay, the only choice that I have is probably Trailblazer or somewhat more aggressive like Carrion or Dire or something. But Trailblazer is probably always a very, very solid choice. How do you get there? It's really high up. It's a Courtier Mastery point, so there has to be some kind of like climb to get there, not only using mounts. But I guess I can just like force my way with the Springer. Just like old school Path of Fire exploration, jumping up the cliffs with the Springer. That's how you did all the exploration back then. Very good, we did it. Could you make some leveling build videos? I think that would be not... So the thing is, when always new people ask, oh, what kind of build should I go for when leveling? My recommendation is always choose different things. Like if you like the staff, try out the staff. Maybe you get a greatsword, try out the greatsword. Whatever, try out different weapons. Try out different traits. Try out different utility skills. It doesn't really matter. Leveling in Guild Wars 2 is really easy. You will not get punished. It is over so fast to get to level 80. You should get the build. Try out some different builds. Don't follow a specific build guide. You will reach level 80 in no time. And when you're level 80, then you can look at the meta builds, the builds on my channel that are focused obviously towards endgame, because then you are already in the endgame. I think in the leveling, you should just experience a bit on your own. Try out some different things, see how the class plays, stuff like that. I really think this is way more important for new player to have fun than following like blindly some kind of guide. That is not necessary at all. But if you want something like that, I would say the best recommendation that I can give you is just get a lot of power stats. Like aggressive power, precision, ferocity makes the leveling process even faster because you can kill the mobs faster. But just ask me if you have a specific question, but I would say just experiment a bit. That's the most important thing. Yeah, the bug was, people were really, really like unhinged about the bug with the new legendaries. Definitely. If it's a Heat Chronomancer and something like Power Boon Chronomancer main hand sword wouldn't be as effective as dagger, exactly. You lose some efficiency for not having like the range that the dagger has access to, but it's not like the end of the world. Yeah. So if you like sword a lot, I think sword is a very solid pick actually. And if they just buff the numbers a bit, I actually think it would be a very, very nice, like solid alternative. Yeah. So if you had a slightly higher damage on the sword and like not being ranged as a punishment, whereas the damage on the dagger is slightly lower, but it's somewhat like value in range as well, then I think that would be the perfect balance. But sword right now is slightly worse, but it's not like in a spot where I would say never pick it. I think if you don't have access to dagger or if you just don't like dagger, sword is a very, very solid choice as a power build, as a Power Boon Chronomancer, full DPS, Mesmer, it works. Yeah. Okay, one more to go. Where is it? In Mount Maelstrom. And then we are good. So hi, I've been using Dragon and Marauder on my Revenant. If I switch to Berserker, will I notice a big difference? So the funny thing is on Revenant, if you're running the specific trait, which is called Roiling Mist, if you have that one I think it's in Invocation. If you have that, you have a very easy time crit capping. And that means that Dragon and Marauder will be the best in slot gear, just straight up, because it gives you a lot of aggressive stats while also giving you some defensive stats. If you don't have that trait, it can be worthwhile to go for more Berserker pieces, and then you will be less defensive, but you will have a lot of damage again. So I would say you should notice a difference in defense a little bit. You have less health, therefore you die faster, but you might have a higher damage output depending on if you have the Roiling Mist trait or not. But even for like Dragon and Marauder pieces can be a very, very solid alternative to full Berserker gear. It's there. Maybe I can get there. It would be good. Otherwise I have to again do my Springer jumping. Oh no. I'm not sure. I think this is not the way how to do it. Okay, we have to do some Springer jumping. Maybe we have to do the full walk again. No, not good. Yeah, exactly. You will die a little bit more. Yeah. Most guides and use the Ascended stat equipment. Does exotic make a difference for certain stats, or does it not matter for builds? So exotic gear typically has like a 10% less stats overall than Ascended gear. So you will notice a difference, especially if you want to crit cap on a power build, for example, and get to 100% crit rate. That can be a little bit harder to achieve on a full exotic build because you will just get 10% less stats. Does it mean it's impossible or it's like very bad? No, not at all. Like I play here on like half Celestial exotic gear and it's completely fine. So Celestial gear or any gear stat that is Condi focused or something, it's actually not a punishment at all, or not that much punishment. On power stats, it can be a bit more punishing, I feel like at least, but it does not really like, it's not like the end of the world again. I would say if you have a specific like build that you play all the time, you should definitely go and try to get Ascended at some point. But to start out with, you can do every single content in Guild Wars 2, I'm not joking, with full exotic gear. The only thing that you cannot do is fractals, the highest level fractals. That's it. All the other stuff you can actually get done. So really, like, just try to get Ascended gear as fast as possible. It's not the most important thing though. Hope that answers your question. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. So let's go and play some PvP match for the daily. And then we can continue slowly working on more gold goals. So we are with the Wizard's Vault already quite, like, we have some good stuff purchased already. So what do I want to go for next? I want to go for the Laurels, of course the Mystic Coins, all of them. and the limited gold coins, because that's like 90 gold lying right here. So very easy. And at some point, maybe even the Tomes of Knowledge for some spirit shards. So there are a lot of really good things to get. And then we will see where we go from there. Maybe the crafting bags. And yeah, there are a lot of good things still to grab. And you will notice the big gold influx for my account here as well. So currently I'm at 167 gold, but I have some stuff in the bank. And of course, I need for the legendary, I need 77 Mystic Clovers. So this is already something that I'm obviously working on. And this is a big gold sink, and I have already almost 250 ectos, and I'm getting some of the obsidian shards as well. So you can see the progress is there, and I'm already only at like day 14, and I still have like about, let's check, for my goal 35 days left. So if you don't know, I have a goal until the expansion drops. I want to get a legendary weapon on this account without any additional help. So I just want to farm everything myself. And this is actually, I think, quite doable. It's not the easiest, but it's quite doable. So yeah, and this is my PvP character, where I also use for some storage and stuff. But it's I'm not quite happy with the inventory here, but what can you do? In the beginning, you have only one bank tab and you have only like 1 or 2 characters to use. So it's just how it goes, I guess. But yeah, if you have any questions, just ask. I'm always happy to answer them, at least if I can. So don't hesitate. I finally got Princess today using a guide, of course. Insane to think people figured that out. Yeah, Princess is quite hard and quite annoying to get alone. And I think it's a really good item. Like you see, even on this account, you know, I already stuck up on those like ascended chunk materials. I get them all the time. So if you have a gobbler like Princess, like Mordray, that can help a lot to get at least a little bit of value back. So I'm highly recommend to get that at some point. Maybe I will go for that on this account here as well. But it's obviously quite something that I would say is somewhat annoying to get. You are happy when you are done, I would say, for me at least. Easy, drop an RNG Blackline key, open a chest, get a bank contract, and trade it into 3 legendaries. Perfect plan if you ask me. Oh yes, I know some people, I had them in chat at some point here on the stream that actually had happening exactly that thing. They were doing a map completion, got a key, opened it, get a bank contract, bought 3 legendaries, done. I, on my main account, opened 2,000 Blackline keys. I have a video about this on my YouTube channel where I open all of them and analyze how much loot I get. And let me tell you, I was quite unlucky. Yeah, I was quite unlucky there. So yeah, it depends heavily how much luck you have, if that's worth it. All my characters have 20 slot Canicon bags. Yeah, that's already a very good choice. The Canicon bags are very easy or somewhat easy to get, and good choice. And I will get this at some point as well, probably farming a lot of Halloween when it comes out on this account here as well, because it's very easy gold farm. But for now I can't do it. For now I can't do it. Yeah, the 4,000 ore, that I feel you. I wouldn't even have that much space on my character on all my characters to have that much lying around, because I would just, the bags would burst and stuff. It would not be good. So I hope I get some kind of solution before then. Other than that, I might have to delete some stuff, because I just can't spare the money right now to get more bag slots or bigger bags and stuff. I really want to save for the legendary. So there's always something to grind in Guild Wars 2. That's just how it goes, I guess. I think I also opened at least 2k keys, probably more, and I got like 1 contract, ever the upgrade remover. But alas, I already had that one, so I traded it into, do not remember when anymore. Yeah, I mean, better you got something, but I can tell you it's really, like, Blackline keys are a big scam. If you are like, in the long run, you will get some contracts, but does it mean you make profit? No, not at all. It's like really about the dopamine hit of going in and opening some chests and hoping for the best. It's really all about this, yeah. This series convinced me to level up my alt account. I've had full legendary on my main account and have forgotten so much about the complete min-maxing with exotic gear. Yeah. I've noticed so much. I actually plan on doing a video about this topic, how much I wouldn't say like enjoy the game now, but it's completely different to play the game again. Even on my main account. I might actually like there are some things that I noticed that on my main account are so fun and so interesting. You know, I'm pressing F all the time to not miss out the loot, even though I have auto loot on the main account. It's really fun. Like a lot of interesting things that I noticed, what kind of like quality of life things I got just by playing the game, and did not really notice on my main account, but after playing on oh my god, I'm so dead. On an account like this one here, it's really you really think about these things twice and say, oh my god, I'm so happy that I have it. Don't go for the rest, guys, please. Yeah, I think my team is not doing a good job, not at all. But let's see. I mean, maybe we can win, but it looks dire, I opened keys for the account bound only chest drops, not for the giga rare stuff. Yeah, I agree. I opened them for the Blackline statuettes, but it's obviously not something that I would recommend to do if there are no guaranteed ones in there. It's not very worth it. Let's get some counter kill here, because if we get counter kills, I think we can come back from this. It doesn't look like that likely, but it's possible. Oh my god. That hit me. The range of that stuff is actually crazy, I have to be honest. I'm playing Reaper myself, but I'm always surprised like how long or how big the range actually is of this skill. It's like 600 range. It's insane how much range that has. It's crazy. Okay, let's get the thing here. That's good at least. I mean, we can come back. We can come back from that. Let's go and get the... we have to get it. Maybe we get even out of combat. Maybe. The random dodges is always good. I'm not sure if that's the smartest choice here to go for the Virtuoso. Yeah, okay. Ah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah, glad you liked the video about the benchmarks. Yeah, I think it was a good topic that came up on stream recently, and I think it's just like something that I have to talk about, you know? It's, oh my god, they got the rally at 1%. Oh my god. That's so painful, you know, if you're playing a Condi build like Condi Reaper and you just can't keep up the cleave with a power build. Now I'm dead. Yeah, now it's over. Sad. We could have won that actually, but that's just unranked in a nutshell. But yeah, I think the video about the benchmarks was really something that we debated here on stream, and I thought we have to really make a video about it, because it's something that the community doesn't really understand or doesn't really talk about. But I think it's very, very important to keep that, especially for new players, but even for veterans, to talk about benchmarks, and that are not everything in the game. Of course, they are very important for some people, but they are not important to like the big majority of people. So I really wanted to make this topic here. Maybe we can still come back from this, but it's not the best spot, to be honest. Not the best spot. We have to go and get the backline. It hit me again. This guy is crazy. Always at the maximum range. Doesn't matter. We will still get the kill, I think, here. There we go. That was so greedy, but I think we will get the kill now. Very good. Oh my god, they instantly got the rally. We got the rally, but they got the Skyhammer, which is obviously also not good. We will get another down here. Nice. Very. 2 people down. They will get hit by the Skyhammer 3 times. They might get the rally again, and now we are done. Now we are done for. Yeah, I mean, that's just unranked in a nutshell. I don't even know what my team was doing all the time. That's fine. Spear Harp Bunker Scourge would be better. Yeah, good point, of course. It depends on the situation. This is like a very, like, I don't know. My team is like having no damage, so I'm not sure. Maybe more bunker would be the solution, but they're dying anyway. I have no clue. It's like unranked, so I don't give that much. I don't care that much, to be honest. So I'm just trying to have fun and trying to get the daily done. Getting as much stats as possible. That's like the main goal here. And try to have fun. That's the thing. World versus world PvP, it's all about fun. It's not really about winning or losing, at least in my opinion. I'm very unlucky drug-wise. Like, I've never got any fusion about 100k. Yeah, I'm with you there. I never got any big infusion drops or anything. On my main account, I have so many hours, and I really, like, I didn't, the rarest item that I dropped was like, I don't know, a couple of 100 golds, like back in the old day when it was like rare to get a precursor or something like that. I don't know. It's really hard for me on my main account to get anything worth to drop. I think it's just like some accounts have bad luck, some accounts have a lot of luck. This account here is way more lucky than my main account. Yeah, I think we cannot contest this. I'm trying to assemble gear for Condi Spectre. I want to go for one gear set for open world. Alacrity, DPS, full DPS would have been the best. Viper, Ritualist, and Celestial. So I would say, that's interesting. Let me quickly check something. Give me a second. So the thing is, Ritualist is a very good gear stat if you're playing a boon DPS, but as soon as you go DPS, you lose out on value. So I would say probably full Viper is probably the best choice, because you will in the long run deal the most amount of damage, and for Condi Elect Spectre you don't really need to go and say, okay, we need to have boons like duration, so that is not necessary on like a Condi Elect Spectre. So I would say, oh my god, if they get the rally, we will lose. This guy will get the rally. No, we will get the rally. Very good. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. 98%. But yeah, I would probably go for Viper. I would go for Viper. 99% now. Oh my god. Just get the kill here. Are they on respawn? I think all of them are on respawn. They will now get the Skyhammer as well. I think this is not winnable. I really don't think so. So sad. I like push, but it really feels like if you are the only one like fighting for stuff, that it doesn't matter. Sad. But at least we got the daily. That's what I wanted. But I would go for Viper, yeah. I've been playing Willbender in PvP and loving it. I watched a video on target selection. Can you name some squishy specs that are most commonly played that I should go for? So Mirage is one, Reaper is one, and like all the Thief specs. Those are probably the ones that I would recommend, yeah, going for. Like Thieves is always a good target. Mirage is a very good target. If you have some kind of Catalyst in the match, that can be a really good target. And Reapers, or especially Harbingers, can be a very good target if you have the burst damage. Yeah, those would be my top choices. Okay. It's insane how Necro isn't brought up when discussing openness in both PvP and to a certain extent PvE. It really does shave a lot. Yeah, I agree. If you want damage, then go Power Spear, Vamp Harp, insane sustain and damage. That is true. That is a very, very good point. Yeah, it is a really good one. So let's see if we can get some daily strike missions. No, not yet. Then let's do some quick play. Halloween is coming up next month. The Lunatic Armor recipes are really good to get. They craft stat selectable exotic armor. Yeah, that's a good tip. Stat selectable exotic armor you can get from World vs. World or from this recipe, so it's really good. And Halloween is one of the best events to farm. It gives a lot of gold, so you can just farm that very easily. And I will do that obviously here on this account a lot as well. I'm not sure if it will come out before the expansion though, because as soon as the expansion drops, my like, so to say, time is up for this challenge, so I will try to get it before then. But if you're a new player, Halloween is one of the best, if not the best, farming event in Guild Wars 2 for open world players. Yeah, always happy to help, Dyke. Always happy to help. The thing with unranked Rush is very simple. I refuse to RNG that. I will just go and grab 4 friends. Yeah, if you have 4 friends, then that is a very, very solid idea to do that. I just always play the game solo in that regard. When I stream, I typically either play with viewers or I will just say, try it alone. Yeah. So I really don't like to find friends first, because that's, for a new player, I think that is also quite unrealistic to say, okay, I will play with 4 other people in PvP match. If you have 4 friends, very good, then do it. But I would say I will on this account try to be as like easy to follow for a new player as possible. And for a new player, it's probably the easiest to say this is possible to be played alone as a solo queue player. of course, you can play push in a 5-person group and probably have a way higher win rate and more fun even. But I just have to like to have fun and get in there, you know. Even if I would have better time if I would be with others, for sure. Yeah, World vs. World Circ guide at some point, yeah. If I find the time for it, yeah. And also I need to get a lot of footage for that, because I think Circ guides are very specific, you know. You cannot just say stick on the tech and that's about it. You really want to showcase a lot of different scenarios, when to do that, when not to do something, and like give a lot of different footage to explain why this is very good, why this is bad, why you should do that. And I really need to get that first before I can make any big like constructive guide or something like that, or like comprehensive guide. So I will keep it in mind. I will try to get it done, but I can't promise you when I will get down to it. Especially as I have to be honest, like World vs. World right now for me is really like, I'm not in a World vs. World guild. So it's like every single time there is a reset or like the server gets relinked, it's really hard for me to say that this matchup is a good one to showcase anything. Sometimes we have like a week where nothing happens, like no enemies ever, or where we just get farmed like 24/7. So there is not a single like good footage moment that I have in there. So it's maybe I have to go into a World vs. World guild to get some good footage there to explain how this works and why this is good. But World vs. World after the Alliance update is somewhat weird. It is really good for the tryhards and for the players that are in a World vs. World guild. But if you're casual, it can be quite hard to get some content. That is at least that you like. Either you get farmed or you have no one to fight. So we will see. Hopefully I can showcase some stuff. But yeah, I keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. But yeah, I'm always up for any suggestions for videos. If you have anything that you want to like have a video about, if you think that is worthwhile for others, new players, veterans alike, just let me know. I'm always open for like any feedback, any ideas. So yeah. So let's summarize the journey for now. I'm already at, obviously as you can see, like mastery rank 23. I have like half my ascended gear done on the other gears set. Yeah, here. Like 5 pieces here. I have a weapon, I have like 2 rings, and I have Chronomancer unlocked, that's good, and Mirage. Other than that, I have a decent amount of gold already, but I have a lot of stuff in the material storage. I have like 57 Mystic Clovers in total, some Mystic Coins, and we are slowly getting somewhere, yeah. But it will like speed up quite a bit as soon as I get all the legendary starter kits. I'm missing like 1. Currently you can get 2 in the bonus event. You can get 1 here, the end, and 1 in the Wizard's Vault. I only have 1 of those. Today I will try to get the second one, so I can get finally some progress there. But yeah, I'm have the map completed already, the core map, and I'm working on Gift of Battle later today as well. So there are a lot of things to like get done, but we are getting somewhere. Yeah, we are getting somewhere. There we go. A little bit more. The skill of the commander makes a huge difference in World vs. World. Good ones will consistently call out movement and skill to use. Exactly. If you have a bad commander, you will notice. If you have a very good commander, you will notice as well. So World vs. World is all about the team play and getting a good commander, getting a good allies with you. It's really is very important. So what are the dailies today? 18, 27. Chaos. Oh, that's really nice ones. Ada Blade, Chaos. Yeah, very good ones. No one wants to do now. Okay. Let's do one more quick play. Need a few more quick plays and then we are done with the stuff here. We need that. And this one will be done very soon. Then we have the legendary gloves unlocked. Like 1 or 2 more quick plays. Welcome Snowdrop. Welcome, welcome. How is it going? Are you going to make a video? Yes, I will do. I'm currently, you can check that, you can see that here. Give me a second. I'm currently on this account on 57 hours. So I will do one video in like a couple of days where I talk about how much progress I made in a month. And then I will make a video after 100 hours. And then I will make a conclusion video just shortly before the expansion drops, when roughly 2 months are over. So those 2 or those 3 spots are my main yeah, points where I would say this is where I can make a summary and make sense to talk about it. So at 100 hours after 1 month, which will be in a couple of days, and in like shortly before the expansion drops. So let's do this. And this one we have. And do another one. It's so easy on Mesmer to do this. It's actually crazy. So masteries to get auto-load on this account, you need 5 in total. I'm currently in the last one. I need 3 more mastery points to be able to get this. So I currently have all of the mastery insights. I just made it earlier today. So I don't have any core mastery insights anymore. So I have to get some boss kills or something like that to get some more of those. Maybe some jumping puzzles, maybe some explorer achievements. I really need to get the auto-loot done. But it's not the top priority right now. I really think I should get some more gold down, some more quick play down, that kind of stuff, because I will get experience from that anyway, and the mastery points, I think there are some achievements that you will just get passively if you play the game, so we will get to that. Welcome Achivaru, welcome, welcome. Everyone is here, very nice. Hope you had a great day so far. And sadly the drops are over, but we can still have fun in the game, and the event is quite nice, it's still ongoing. And you can finally get the not bugged gloves, yeah? So we have now finally legendary free gloves. We will get them, I think, after this or the next fractal, yeah. So very nice. Yes, I will get them later, like I said, in 1 or 2 fractals. So quite close on this account as well. It's not really important though, because I have already like the ascended gloves. I specifically did not say I will get the legendary gloves and will not get ascended gloves, because I think for a new player that starts in a year from now, it might not be like the easy, or it is still there, the gloves, and it's still easy to get them, but it's definitely not as, like, I would say, easy and very easy, how can I say? It's still easy to get them, but it might not be as fast as currently with all the events and bonus things and a lot of people queuing all the time, so it might be a little bit slower. That's why I wanted to say, okay, I want to make sure that a new player might also follow along and just getting the ascended gear. But yes, I will use this legendary gloves, of course, if I use full berserker, chronomancer or something. That makes a lot of sense, where I don't have the stats at all. And even for my Celestial gear, I don't have Ascended Celestial gear, so it might be even good for a solo build or something like that. But yeah. Welcome, Evil Bison. Welcome, welcome. Nice. Congrats for your first Legendary then. Congrats. I still can't decide which weight class to pick the gloves, so you can get all of the weight classes after that. They are actually not that expensive, so you can get them there. But of course, if you only play one light armor class or only play heavy armor classes, then just go for those. I think because of how cheap they are, it's one of the easiest legendary items to get, even if you want to get all of 3 of those armor weights. I really think so. So don't worry too much. There we go. Quick play done. The gloves are done. Very nice. We did it. And we got an Ascended Amulet. That's obviously also very good, because we can now finally get the amulet selected. Oh, it's an accessory even better. Even better. And wait, did we get the achievement or didn't we get it yet? We have to talk to the guy first. Okay, so that's very good. We got the accessory, which we can then equip, of course, Harrier. So we have another Ascended piece acquired with a plus 10 Agony infusion. So we're spiking here like crazy with the Agony. Look at our thing here. We have now 3 pieces. We only need 3 more trinkets. We have 1 weapon. This you can't see, but we need the unlock for the rival. 5 pieces here. We can get another infusion slot here. And I think then we are like, it's downscaled. We have 52. So it's really, we are really making progress. So let's go to Lion's Arch and get the Legendary gloves. I have the Omni Potion already. Yes, I do. I always forget it to activate it, because on my main account I have it in the shared inventory. That's another thing that I always forget. And you don't have to double click it at all if you have the Mistlock Mastery. I don't have that. So I just have to double click it in my inventory, but I always forget, like always. So it doesn't really matter in quick play that much, especially if you're on a build that doesn't do that much damage. But you are right, I should activate it all the time. It's just like for a veteran that has that all the time on his main account, it's just so, it's so out of my mind. I will never like click that item. It's so crazy. Want to give you a big thank you. I've not played Guild Wars 2 in over 5 years, just came back to the game and I found your videos absolutely amazing. Thank you again. Glad to hear that. Always happy to help and welcome back. That's what we need. More veterans coming back to the game, more new players joining the game, more veterans that are already playing the game, staying in the game. That's what we need. And I hope my videos help there. Yes, they might reveal it. So let's not look at it. So people might not want to listen and hear that. That's a good point. It's not a good point. For a semi-new player, do you recommend going for Eternity, Twilight Sunrise, selling it, and then buying one of them again? So I would say it can be worthwhile to do that. I would say it can be very, very good for just money purposes. Does that mean you should get it and should do it like that? I don't know. I think it's somewhat like annoying to do. Yeah, selling legendaries is not something that a new player might get like a lot of fun and a lot of value out of. Yes, you get some money or some gold in game, but I would say yes, if you really are in for min-maxing gold gain, that can be worthwhile. But I personally would say I didn't do it, and I would also not do it on a second account, even though I'm a veteran and know how to do it. I just don't like selling legendaries in Guild Wars 2. It's always an annoying thing to do. So I think I really don't like it too much. There we go, we have the legendary. Of course we equip the light one, or we choose the light one. Yes, there we go, light one. And we have it. Unlocked, very good. And the first legendary item here acquired. Very good. Now we need some more agony. A little bit more agony, let's go in. We are already at, what's the possible, we can't open those, but we have 52 agony now, so we can actually go quite high. Let's check how high we can go with the 52 agony, but we will get even more than that. 52, like somewhere like here 45. So almost tier 3 already with the agony. It's quite nice, quite nice. We can get some more. And we make some progress even with the agony stuff. Very good. +9, that's what we want. For one of our items here, boots, that's what we want. 61 agony, very good, very good. We can also attune and infuse our rings at some point. We will do that together, because then you can extract it first, the agony infusion, so that you don't lose them, and then attune and infuse them at the same time, so you get 6 slots in total, which obviously is really, really good. Not important for now. Just have to level our fractal level at some point as well. Let me hydrate for a second. But of course, if you have any questions, just ask. I'm always very happy to answer. So we need a few more for the legendary starter kit, the most important one. And we also need to get some dailies done here. 27 and 30. Maybe some strike missions first. Always waiting for some groups. Recommendeds. You can do the recommendeds. Let's do some recommendeds. No, I'm always happy to answer questions. Of course, I can't guarantee that I will get all of them perfectly and know everything about all the questions. But if you have any question, I will try my best to answer it. Because obviously we need more people to answer new players' questions or veterans' questions. That's just something that we need. I think Guild Wars 2 community is amazing. And there are so many things that you need to learn about the game to actually have a lot of fun. You can have fun before that, but you will have even more fun if you get the questions answered. So, always happy to do that. I seem to remember there was a way to get pristine fractal rakes besides buying them. Or am I misremembering it? No, you can. You get them from dailies. So you get those here. Those you get from the dailies. And those ones you can get from any chest. And you can also consume those, I think, to get those, the normal ones. Is that really good? I would not recommend doing that, but you can do that, I think. At least you could do it in the past. I have not done it on my main account in like years, but I think you can still do it. What build are you running and how did you get Dagger on Chronomancer? So, first of all, this is like I'm running some kind of hybrid celestial Boom Chronomancer right now because I want to fill the healing role, full Harrier stats and stuff like that with some Celestial pieces in there, just some random stuff that is not upgraded to a Celestial to a Ascended Harrier pieces yet, but we will get there. And I have the dagger because I really like the dagger to have that as a weapon because it's just a very, very solid weapon for clone generation and some damage in the PvE scenario. You get that by completing a story step in, where is it? In Secrets of the Obscure. After completing the 3rd story steps, you can unlock the dagger, even though you are not a virtuoso, which is normally the thing that unlocks the dagger for you. So for me as a Chronomancer, I get that via the 3rd story step in Secrets of the Obscure. Exactly. Or you can purchase it from World vs. World if you play a lot of World vs. World. How did you choose your main? So on this specific account, I chose my main with the class that I thought is the easiest for me to carry groups while also having the most experience and most knowledge to actually apply that strong class in real combat. That's why I chose Mesmer, because it's very flexible, I know a lot about it, and it's just really strong in the current meta. But on my main account, I don't have a specific main. I play all the classes and I like to have fun on all of them. That's why I make guides about all of the specific builds, about all the elite specs, and that will continue with the new expansion, with the other new elite specs that will come there. Yeah, if you have a booster, then you can level instantly. If to get to fractals, like this item here, you can level to level 80 in like with a double click and can get into fractals. If you don't want to use that or don't have that, it will need like a couple of hours, like I would say between 10 to 20 if you are doing it for the first time. Does it mean it's annoying? I would say it depends who you ask. I personally think it's actually very worth to try that, to level for the first time normally, because then you will slowly understand how the game works. But if you want to skip that, you can use the level 80 boost if you bought any expansion that is in Guild Wars 2. When I started DLC content, which one character can I continue with another character? So if you can not continue the story where you left off in that regard, but if you completed a story step, you can jump to that step that you already did, you can complete that again. But I would say stick to one character when you play through the story, because that's the most like easy thing to get done. But you can go into Heart of Thorns maps with a second character, third character. You just should typically stick to one character doing the story, because otherwise the story will not really progress that easily, or you have to redo a lot of that stuff. So typically stick to one character with the story, but everything else, like doing fractals raids, open world content, exploring the maps and stuff, you can switch around whatever you like. It does not matter. I do that on my main account all the time. I have one story character, and other than that, I don't care. Let's get some more stability for this one. Thanks, Immortal. M. Torel. Thanks a lot. Sorry for butchering your name. Really appreciate it, Prime. Thanks a lot for your support. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Am I quick? Yeah, I'm quick heal. Okay, that's good. Quick heal is quite good because we don't have alacrity, I think. I'm pretty sure we have. Do we have alacrity? We actually have an alacrity blades on. That's actually insane. Like in tier 1 recommended fractal, we have an alacrity blades on. Who would have thought that? But yeah, that's perfect. Then I can actually provide the quickness, and we have actually a real group composition. Who would have thought? Amazing. The tricky question is what to play, what is fun. I've tried some builds, Pistol Thief, Guardian, Reaper, Revenant, and always fall back to my rival mechanist. For now I'm curious how Gale Shot would be. So I think Gale Shot will be fun for players that like rival mech, but I think it will be way harder. Like there will be an easy Gale Shot build, but if you want to get high damage numbers, I think Gale Shot will be way harder to play than Rival Mechanist. Does it mean it's unplayable for players that like easy builds like Rival Mechs? No, not at all. But I think Gale Shot is not the class that is like recommended to players that are like looking for a very, very easy spec. I think Mechanist will still be the king of that, or the queen, however you want to call it. So I think if you like Mechanist, stick with it. If you want to play different classes, maybe go for something else. And try it out. There are a lot of easy builds like easy Dragon Hunter, easy Pistol, like you mentioned, Thief, but you can even go for the really weird stuff. You could go for an easy Spellbreaker build. You could go for what was there as well. Easy Condi Virtuoso build, easy Soul Beast build. There are actually quite a lot of easy builds out there, like low intensity builds on my YouTube channel. But I would say one of the best, if not the best right now, is sadly or luckily, or however you want to call it, is Rival Mechanist. Yes. It's just a very, very solid pick nowadays. Welcome, returning from a hiatus. That's good. Welcome back to the game. And I used to main Necromancer. How is it today? Necromancer is really good in all game modes. It's one of the best classes, but you can play nowadays almost every single class in all game modes because it's actually quite well balanced the game nowadays. So Necromancer in a very solid spot in all game modes, but all classes actually are. With some exceptions, but Necromancer is none of them. So Necromancer, really good pick. I saw characters between expansions for story was so bad when the return to achievements came. Yeah, actually, I think for me personally, swapping characters for story is never a good choice. Like, it doesn't matter if there is some kind of achievement or whatever you want to do, stick to one character, do the story with it, and everything else you can do on another character, but the story should probably be done on one character. It's just the best way to experience the Guild Wars 2 playthrough because it makes everything more enjoyable. It really must. It's almost a must do, yeah. There we go. Daily recommended's done. Not bad, not bad. Let's thank the group and look for another daily group. Does the current Necromancer Scourge carry as well? Yes. So I would say in PvE, Scourge is one of the best carry builds because it's very, very safe and very easy to play. If Reaper, I would say, or like Harbinger carry with damage, but Scourge can carry with crazy support. So I would personally say Necromancer is actually surprisingly good for carrying. Yeah, I really think so. There we go. That's what we wanted. Let's play some DPS. I'm always so ashamed for joining for DPS, but I don't have better gear and I don't have a better build, so I have to play with this setup, which does DPS, but the damage numbers are sadly quite low. Sadly quite low. Story should be account completion, not by character. I agree. I agree. I agree. So that's what we want. That's what we want. Yep, exactly. I've been playing a lot of support Spectre and Quickplay. It's so frustrating trying to give alacrity in a group that won't stack. At least I've been able to learn Spectre during this event. Yeah, I think that is not only for Spectre players, but it's noticeable for all support players. Like, if the group does not stack, you notice that on Spectre, on Firebrand, for example. If the group is just all over the place, you will not apply the boons to them. It's just almost impossible. Spectre has that problem. I think some classes have an easier time to get around this. For example, like Heal Berserker or Quickness Herald, but a lot of other classes struggle immensely, like insanely, to get the boons out. So it's just like, if the party is bad, you can't help them. It's sadly the case. You will try your best, but it doesn't help. But at least you could learn Spectre. That's good. That's good. Soulbeast is still a very good one, yeah. Soulbeast will probably always be one of the best classes in terms of like just raw burst damage, and it's very solid in all game modes because of that. It's Condi, power, doesn't matter. It's really good. Really good one. We will also have to do dungeons at some point. Maybe not today, but at some point we have to do 5 explorable dungeons. I think 5 different explorable dungeons to get the stuff for the legendary. So quite cool. We have to go back to dungeons. Yeah. Who would have thought that I will do dungeons on stream? But yeah, it will come at some point. Do you need any master to do strike missions? No. You can do the strike missions if you have the specific expansion that needs to be unlocked for the specific strike mission that you want to do. You don't have to have any specific mastery for that. That's why I'm doing it, because I don't have any mastery except the Fractal Mastery unlocked, which is the only one that I care about because it gives me more loot. The other ones, obviously it helps if you do the Iceblood Saga strike missions. It helps to have the, where is it? Those Essence Manipulation Masteries up leveled, because then you can open all the chests. But you will get still quite a decent amount of loot. So that's why I do it almost every day here on stream, the Iceblood Saga Masteries, because the strike missions, because they are just a lot of gold. Is there a DPS build which uses Celestial gear in group play? No. Whenever you play DPS, you have better stats than Celestial. Celestial is always a healer stat or is some kind of hybrid stat. So if you want to be a hybrid boon DPS healer or something like that, then it works. But if you want to be a full DPS, Celestial is never the best option in PvE. There is no exception to that rule, I would say. It's just, you spread too much your stats that you will not get value in the offense as much as you would like to. Of course, it's not bad. I do it here as a DPS build, but it's not the best option. Yeah. Yeah, so the thing is, a lot of times when you see in Guild Wars 2 someone that actually knows how to perform on a build, open world build or solo build or even like raid builds, whatever, and you see someone playing it, a lot of times you think, oh, that looks easy, I can play that as well. And then you play it and then you die, or you just don't get the rotation down, like not even close to how you should perform on it. Even I, as a veteran that plays the game a lot, have this problem. So I would say just stick to it, try to play it a bit more, and you will get around it at some point. But it's a common problem in Guild Wars 2. It looks easy when you see someone else play it, but if you play it yourself, it might be quite challenging actually. So don't worry too much. How's Engineer at the moment in SPVP? So Holosmith is one of the best specs right now. Mechanist is garbage, and Scrapper is like somewhere in between. I would say Holosmith is the by far best choice that you have, and probably like an S tier build right now. Like really, really good. So Mechanist in structured PvP, very, very solid pick. Which is obviously very nice to hear for the Engineer mains, because that was something that was quite like lacking in the last few months, years even at this point. So yes, Engineer is surprisingly back. Yes. I would not have thought I would say that in a while, but yeah, it's a good one. It's back. Mega solo build to solo the dungeons. I mean, dungeons, that's the funny thing. Dungeons were soloed when the game came out. Dungeons are like, you don't need the power creep or feature creep that we currently have, and you can, even back then you could solo dungeons. You don't need a solo build for that. Most of the dungeon builds that you would run to solo stuff with would be full DPS builds. Like full, like, I don't know, quickness chronomancer, quickness catalyst or something that provides quickness, because that's a really good boon to have. But even without, like, you could run full DPS blades on. People do that solo dungeons all the time. It's people overestimate how often you need a solo build. Oftentimes in dungeons where you have a lot of damage, it's way better to go for a build that is higher in damage output, because the bosses die anyway very fast, even if you're alone. So yeah, that's the truth here. You can go in dungeons just with a raid build, with a full DPS raid build, and you will be able to clear them faster than most solo builds will be. It's crazy. But of course, if you need the safety, go for a solo build and you will also be able to succeed. Yeah, I think dungeons have more intricacies, how to play them, how to set up your group and how to like do this stuff. Fractals are very linear. You kill some mobs, go to the next area. Kill a boss, go to the next area. In dungeons, it's more like, how can I get to the end of the dungeon without having to waste time? That does not always mean you have to kill stuff. I would say most of the time you have to kill the bosses, but not even all the bosses have to be killed. So sometimes you skip bosses, sometimes you skip like specific paths of the dungeons, sometimes you skip mobs. So it's really cool what dungeons can have, what fractals don't. So I agree with you, dungeons are somewhat more interesting. Sadly, they are outdated in that regard, not really updated, but it's still quite fun to explore, and it's good gold per hour. Yes, you cannot loot all of the chests. I can't do that either here on this account, so I will just accept that and just get as much loot as possible. It's still worth my time here doing those Icebrood Saga Strike missions. Yesterday I got the free legendary gloves, and today I crafted the PvE legendary helmet. So now I have 2 armor pieces, but I feel unsatisfied with an on-clip legendary armor set. Due to not having the quality of life on all 6 pieces, is that the wrong mindset? So I think that's a completely fine mindset. I have that as well. I want to have the full legendary, so probably your goal should be get more legendaries. Yeah, set yourself the goal, go for more legendaries. It's a long-term goal. You cannot get that today, but I think that's fine. You know, you should have some long-term goals. So I personally think that's a good mindset. And if you enjoy the game, you have something to work towards now. So that's good. Welcome, Filthy. Welcome, welcome. Which items do you need out of the dungeons for legendary? So the currency that you get for killing or defeating the end bosses of dungeons is the Tales of Dungeon Delving, and you need 500 of those to purchase the specific gift for the legendary that you want to go for. Any Generation 1 legendary needs that, so that's what I'm going for, those Tales of Dungeon Delving. I need exactly 500 of those items or those currency. I get 100 per unique dungeon path that I do on a specific day, so that will be the goal at some point. Probably not today, but at some point we have to do that. And dungeons are fun, so you will see it here on stream how to do them, or at least how you can do them, not necessarily how you should do them. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The Regalia and the stuff is a really good one to go for as well. Yeah, it takes a while, but it's a free legendary, so be sure to grab it. Be sure to grab it. Yes, you could use the Tyrian vouchers, but I don't have any on this account as far as I know. I have to double check, but I think I don't have any of those lying around. So for me, that's obviously like, I could farm them from PvP, I could get this from the vouchers, but I think dungeons are actually quite fun. Yeah, it's not something that I would do like every day if I don't have a good group, but I will do them at some point here on stream, and it will be a fun like showcase, at least in my opinion. Yeah. So there we go. Enchanter, how fast can you get the spear? So the spear is one of the ones that can get, at least as I've remember it, I think it's actually one of the ones that is somewhat faster to unlock. It's not as annoying as the rival unlock or the, like, let's say, Path of Fire elite specs if you get all the hero points from there. But I think it's not the, if you play World vs. World, it's instant. If you play it only from PvE, you need to do some story steps. So a couple of minutes to a couple of hours, depending on how fast you are. Yeah. But I noticed that as well. I make a video about it. I think one of the criticisms is that those things that are the feature that you unlock with the expansion that you buy, Chanterwald's the spear, so to the new weapons in, for example, Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, you need the elite specs. I think one of the criticisms that I have is that you don't unlock them instantly. I think for a new player that wants to get the spear, you don't want to have to farm like 5 hours or something like that to get the spear. I think, in my opinion, that should be something they should put more front-loaded. Yeah, yes, I understand. There is some kind of learning process and the roleplay of that. I get that, but I personally think it's more fun to unlock this item instantly, like the Sky Scale with the Soto expansion. You get the Sky Scale, at least the borrowed version, in Secrets of the Obscure maps, like almost instantly when you get to those maps, which is really cool. And I think that's what they should do with the weapons as well. That you can explore the maps with the new weapon to have some fun and unlock it by doing other things on top of that. I agree. Did you open the Blackline chests? I opened the Blackline chests, I think always when I got a key or something, but on this account I opened like 10 or something, did not get anything. Obviously, who would have thought? On my main account I opened 2000 Blackline chests a while ago. I have a YouTube video about that, and it's like, I did not expect to get anything. So, yes, I opened them, but you didn't miss anything. As usual, I guess. Oh my god, they can't wait. Is it worth to do strike missions every day? So the Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions, if you have the time for them, yes. If you want to do even more strike missions, then you can do the the End of Dragons ones every week, and the Soto ones also every week. That's the most like rewarding thing. You could do them every day, but they don't give you any gold then. So I would say only the Iceblood Saga strike missions are the ones that I would recommend to do every single day. All the other ones like Soto, End of Dragons, I would only recommend to do them once per week. Can you buy the Tyria vouchers with the statuettes? That's a good point. That's a good point. I can do that. Is that something? Is that smart? What is that smart? Like, because you could get other cool stuff from the statuettes, but it's a good point. I could do that. Then I could skip some dungeon farming. We will see. Dungeons is not like something that I would say is like, to me, the most annoying thing to do, but you're right, that could be something that is worth considering. I don't know how much you get from one voucher though, because each statuette is at least 1 gold. So I would spend 1 gold to skip the dungeon farm, and the dungeons itself would also give me gold. That's the funny thing. dungeons give you gold for completing them. So is it worth to skip that grind to get some to lose gold instead of getting gold? Maybe, depends on who you ask. But if you do dungeons fast, you make actually decent gold per hour. So maybe it's faster for me or more like lucrative to actually do the dungeons. We will see. It's not the most urgent one though. Can get that in the last minute before if I have all the gold, then I can still use the vouchers, I guess. Welcome, Tiro. Welcome. I was looking at some of your build guides and was needing Rune of the Trapper, but I only see the recipe on the trader, not the actual rune. Yes, Rune of the Trapper is really weird because you can only purchase the recipe. So if you have any crafting profession leveled that can like craft this rune, you would get the recipe and craft it yourself. Otherwise, you cannot get those runes. Or if you have legendary runes. If you don't have neither of those two things, then I would say my recommendation is going for probably Undead Rune, Nightmare Rune, Krite Rune, something like that. But the best option is always Trapper Rune. It's just the best amount of stats that you can get in a Condi build. So either craft it yourself or get legendary runes. Those, if you want to get the best in slot gear. Yeah, you cannot purchase them, sadly. That's sadly not how it works. Really weird, but that's how it is. Exactly. You will get from one path that you didn't do this day, you will get exactly 100 tokens, which is very, very like good. I need 5 paths then. But I was like thinking about how many vouchers I actually need to get the same amount. Because if I get from one voucher like 200 or even more, then it might be worth it. But if I need like multiple vouchers to get the 500 currency, then it is a waste of my money, I would say. But like I said, it's not the most urgent thing. What weapons should I use as a Chronomancer without Soda and Chanterwalds for open world and fractals? So depends what kind of build you're going for. If you're going for a healer build, I would say Staff and Scepter Shield is probably the best choice, but you will definitely notice a big like difference in healing output without the rivals. So I would probably go for Wound DPS Chronomancer instead. And then you use like a Greatsword and sword. Yeah, I would say sword with a Greatsword is the best option for Boon DPS Chronomancer. Maybe sword focus if you need a pull, but you should go for Greatsword in the main hand instead of the spear. That's the biggest important thing. Yes, that's how I would do it. Welcome, Darkness. Welcome. What's the best way to get trophies? I need a lot of my legendary armor sets. So what kind of trophies do you mean? Because trophies is a thing that is referred in the game like a lot of different times. So what exactly do you mean for trophies? Do you mean like tier 6 materials or like powerful blood or something? Or something else? Yeah, for tier 5 and tier 6 materials, I would recommend going for volatile magic. So if you get like all the Living World Season 4 currency, all the maps there give you a lot of volatile magic. I can showcase volatile magic. This one. And you can convert the volatile magic, I will do this at some point here as well, in tier 6 materials. Going to a specific vendor, there are multiple ones of those, and there you can purchase trophy shipments, which you need 1 gold and some amount of volatile magic, and they will give you more gold back than you spend on average, which means that you in the long run will make some profit and you will get some huge amount of tier 5 mats and a small to decent amount of tier 6 mats. And if you have a lot of volatile magic around, you can get quite a lot of those and you will be able to either sell it or use it for the legendary. That's by far the best way to get this. Other than that, of course, you can purchase it from the TP or could try farming specific events or specific like enemies in the open world, but that's way more like annoying and not really like that rewarding. So I would say volatile magic is probably the best choice. Which is the best Mesmer spec for PvP, PvE? So currently I would say in PvP the best Mesmer spec is overall, if you want to have both of the specs, or both of the game modes being like top tier, I would probably say it's Virtuoso right now. Power Virtuoso is really good in both game modes. With the last nerfs to Mirage, yeah, I think Power Virtuoso is probably the best in PvP specifically. Does it mean you cannot play the other two? No, not at all. Mesmer in general is like a very, very solid pick in all game modes. But I would say Virtuoso is probably like the best right now. Yeah, I would say, yeah. Trying to decide between a Necromancer and a Revenant, which class do you consider better overall? So if you want to do everything in the game, right now I would say Necromancer is slightly better in that, I would say, but only slightly. Why is that? Because I think if you want to fill a healing role in PvE, then Renegade or any Revenant spec is slightly like worse. Like it's just not made for that. But if you don't care to fill a healer role, I think they are very close, like very close. It depends a bit what you value the most. So if you value PvP more than you value PvP, then you get a different result than if you value PvE. I think PvE, if you are only talking about instance content, I think Necromancer is slightly better. If you value open world, I actually would say probably Revenant is slightly better, but it depends heavily what kind of content you value. But I think both of them are extremely good overall. They are almost all the other classes are worse than both of those two. So not a bad choice either way, I would say. What's the best way to get volatile magic? So you can convert the Eternal Ice Shards from the stuff that I'm currently doing that you can see here on screen. You can convert those into volatile magic, which is obviously one of the ways that I do it. You can also farm the Living World Season 4 maps. I would say the fastest way to get volatile magic is Dragonfall farm. So you farm Dragonfall, the last map, the 6th map of the Living World Season 4, over and over and over, and you get a decent amount of volatile magic that way. And that means that in the long run, you will acquire quite a lot of volatile magic and gold on top of that. That's probably the way that you want to do it. What I'm doing here is only each day I can get some Eternal Ice Shards, convert them into volatile magic and get some gold out of that. But it's daily kept, so to say. But those two, I would say, are probably the best ones. You can also farm Istan or even the like Specimens Chamber or something like that. But yeah, there are a lot of ways to get this. Just farm the Living World Season 4 maps is probably the best way. What do you think are the best weapon setups for a Celestial Revenant build? If you have access to a shortbow can be a very nice range pick. Spear is a very good weapon, and mace and axe. So those 3 weapon sets, pick 2 of those if you have access to them, and you have a very, very, very good like solo open world build with Celestial for Revenant. I would say mace and axe in one hand, and then either spear or shortbow in the other hand. This is what I would recommend. Doesn't mean it's the only choice that you have, but they are probably by far the best, yeah. Just discovered the Revenant can use Scepter and the normal attacks become a lightsaber. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Sadly or fortunately, depends who you asked, but this is only being played as a full healer. You cannot play Scepter any other way, and you can only play it, I would say, on at least to a decent build on a Vindicator as a healer. Herald and Renegade you can play as a healer, but they are very bad or somewhat like bad. So I would recommend to go for, if you really want to go for the Scepter and see the crazy animations on it, then Vindicator as a healer is a solid pick. But even then it's not that good, so you typically don't see like any lightsaber attacks. That can be for people that really like this one, quite sad, but it can be for people that hate this big animation on an auto attack. Then they probably are quite happy that Scepter is not meta, because otherwise you will see your screen like lighting up like crazy all the time just for doing auto attacks. But yeah, maybe we get some buffs to Revenant support, because to be honest, if you have one spec that is horrible at support in PvE, it's Revenant. It's crazy. All 3 specs could do it, but all 3 are not like insanely powerful at it. So I really hope we get some Revenant support buffs. So, and that will probably also include the scepter, I guess. We will see. We will see what we get with the next expansion, with the next balance patch. Probably some changes to support as well. Probably, yeah. How do you convince yourself to bind a legendary weapon? I've crafted a couple legendary spears, but always sold for profit, and I always get the urge to sell just so I have the money again to get what it means to don't have the weapon. Yeah, I personally would say, for me, I bind the legendary on my main account because I don't know what to spend the money on or the gold on other than legendaries nowadays. I have almost everything in the game. So I don't really have anything else. I think for me, the goal in the beginning, when I had other goals as well, was always to get the quality of life of legendaries. Because I play a lot of different characters, a lot of different builds. For me, a legendary is like insane amount of quality of life. But if you play only one build, only one class, only one character, then it might not be the case. And then I can fully understand why you say a legendary is completely worthless to me. But for me, it was never the case. And I think I also don't have any other goals right now on my main account. So I think just because of that, I would probably say it depends heavily on what kind of player you are. And if you are a player that doesn't get any value from legendaries, then just don't bind them. You will, you will probably in the long run have the money to spend on bag slots, other account upgrades, other skins. Sure. Sure. So, done with that as well. We have to do some World vs. World today later. I'm already scared. Oh, my voice is breaking. Yeah, Conduit needs a buff. Also, I would say, so, Conduit, I think the idea of Conduit is not bad, but I think the design of it is like missing something big. And I really hope that Conduit gets a big buff. Maybe we get some buff to core legends. Maybe we get some Conduit buffs on top of that. And then Conduit can be a really good support if it gets alacrity or quickness on top of that. And then Revenant would have a good support spec. But right now, Conduit looks like very lackluster. The only thing it can do is a DPS build, and then you are decent. But that's it. So I really hope we get some buffs to Conduit. I really do. What would be the second weapon if I'm using the Scepter for the main hand? You would use Shield. If you're running, you would use Scepter, Shield, and a Staff. This is what you would use as a support. If you have Soto, of course. But you need to have Soto for the Scepter anyway, so it makes sense, yeah. But either way, I would say it's not the best like setup already. But what can you do? What can you do? If they don't buff the traits, you have to live with the weapon choices that you have. I'm a new player for like some months now, playing a Power Berserker with XX and Mace. What other builds on Berserker or Spellbreaker are possible to change the gameplay a bit? So you can play a Condi Berserker, which uses a longbow, which is completely different in my opinion to the X Berserker because you play way less on the burst focused, way more focused on your actual weapon skills. Because on Berserker you spam your Decapitate and F1, F1, F1. And in Condi Berserker it's a little bit different. You can also play a Heal Berserker. I really enjoyed it on my main account. I can't play it here, but on my main account I do that all the time. It's really fun in my opinion, because it is completely different than what you normally would do. Other than that, I would probably say... What did you say, Spellbreaker? Yeah, Spellbreaker is quite similar to X Berserker for the most part. You also play maces, you also play an X. You can play a Hammer Spellbreaker. It's also a very good DPS build because it has a lot of stability, a lot of CC. So there are quite a lot of options for Warrior. Just go to Snowcross and check out their different builds for the class. They have a lot of good ones. Yeah. Welcome, Patricia. Welcome. Hope you had a good day so far. Yeah, I think Conduit needs more boons, that much is for sure, but it also needs some kind of additional help, I would say. I think it is not perfect in terms of like the gameplay already. Even if it had boons, I think it's not perfect, but the boons is definitely a big problem. Yeah, I need some tea or something. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Now it's better. It's just at some point, you know, if you talk for hours straight up, then your voice at some point cracks. That's just sadly the case. Yeah, I think it's, if you have Conduit and Conduit doesn't get anything else than just boons, I think it's not the most exciting class. If it gets some kind of specific new attack mechanic that alters depending on what kind of legend you have equipped, then it gets more interesting. But before then, I think Conduit is just a big increase to your stats. It feels like a core Revenant that just has more power. That's it, more power level. And that's not a very healthy design. I think Conduit could have been very, very cool because of the flexibility it promised that it didn't deliver on at all. So I really hope we will get to this like flexibility that they promised us. I really hope we will get that, because then we can say, okay, this might now be a spec that you can play as a healer or as a DPS or as a boon DPS or as a bruiser in World versus World PvP. But right now, it doesn't look like it. It does not look like it. Yeah, I'm good. So I've played 2 weeks of Ranger, played story and leveled it to level 80, but it just doesn't click for me. I'm used to using Soul Beast, solo PvE build, but it feels like I'm just perma-spamming dagger skills. Maybe any tips how I can find more fun? I'm more of a range player, but the bow skills of Ranger are boring as well. Maybe Mesmer Virtuoso. Yeah, I think Virtuoso feels way more fun than on range than a Soul Beast does, at least in my opinion, because Soul Beast is nowadays, it's a melee build. Like there is you can play a Condi Soul Beast, but even then you spam the dagger skills, like you probably already noticed. So I would say Ranger is in a weird spot that will change with the expansion, so maybe not decide yet to like completely switch, but maybe try out like Mesmer and Virtuoso in particular. That is a very fun build, Virtuoso, Power or Condi, and it feels very fun to use from range as well. So I would say Virtuoso can be a very solid pick there. Does it mean it's the only choice there for you? For sure not. But I would say if you like the range playstyle, I think it's a very solid option, and just try it out. You know, yes, you are right, you will lose your map progress and you or not lose it, but don't get any value from it. You will not get access to your story and stuff, but maybe you will have fun in farming some gold on the other class. And if you really like it and really dislike Ranger, then you can make the full switch and say, this is now my new main, and I might even continue the story from there. So stuff like that. But I would say try it out. Virtuoso is a good choice, in my opinion. And Gale Shot might be what you're looking for because it has an inherent range bow with the profession mechanic, so that can obviously be really good, but only if you can wait for that long. That is the big thing here. We will have to wait until the expansion comes out, which is in like 34 days or something, so not as long anymore. No, I'm always happy likely. Just ask what you want to get a question to. I obviously cannot give you a necessary, like, complete, absolute truth answer to this question, but I hope my answer was at least a little bit helpful. But yeah, like I said, Gale Shot can be a very solid pick, but you have to wait until the expansion drops. And before that, you can maybe try out Virtuoso and then, or you just stick to Ranger and try to find some fun on maybe Condi Soul Beast or something like that with a shot bow. Something like that. Who knows? Yeah, the Spear Harbinger build is very, very fun. That's why I had to make a video about it. It's just such a good pick. It's so good and so flexible. Yeah, really good one. Glad you enjoy it. Glad you enjoy it. Nice. A lot of Ectos. That's what we like. Do Weaver has a build for fractal raids that not have to be a piano? Weaver is always quite spammy. There is some kind of somewhat easy Condi Weaver build with a scepter where you really only use like earth and fire, but even then the most optimal rotation would be something that uses like not quite, but somewhat high actions per minute anyways. So I would say Weaver or Elementalist in general always have somewhat high actions per minute, and it feels always a little bit more like a piano. But I would say if you're playing a scepter focus specifically, Weaver that camps only fire and somewhat a little bit of earth, then you can have a decent time there and can try it out. But Weaver is always somewhat like the most optimal damage build on Weaver, which is the only thing that Weaver can do, is really focused around like pressing a lot of buttons. That's just how it works, sadly. So if you are into Weaver but not into pressing a lot of buttons, maybe check out some other specs and have some fun there. Yeah, Ranger does not really have any range builds. Even though it's in the name in that sense, it does not really have any big range builds now. But with the expansion, Gale Shot will be the range build. Like straight up, it will be a really, really solid range pick. So maybe that will change your opinion on Ranger. Is there something close in PvE to it? What exactly do you mean? To the Harbinger one. Yeah, you can play a Power Harbinger in PvE as well. That works surprisingly well. It's quite similar. It's obviously not as tanky as it is in World vs. World or PvP, but it is a solid pick as well. I would say other than that, you could play something like Scrapper. Yes, it's a completely different class and different playstyle, but it has the similar effect of being extremely tanky while being very offensive on top of that, because you have a lot of barrier and generation and stuff like that. So I would say, because of that, probably like Scrapper is a solid other pick. But yeah, you can also play Power Harbinger, like I said. With the Kata Scepter, is it still viable for World vs. World? Yes, yes. It is very viable still. It's a very good build and very easy to get into. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, me too, likely. Me too. I'm looking forward to Gale Shot a lot. I think it will be one of my most played specs when the expansion comes out. What is... So, Filthy, what is the uncategorized CM? Is it just the healing reduction? I mean, I will join you for that one. Come on, I will help you. I will help you there. Doesn't mean I will be able to carry you. I'm just on a low-level character, but I will join. I will join. Is Infinite Fishing Lure from Blackline worth it? I mean, it depends. If you're playing like insane amount of like stuff where you have insane amount of fishing, like fishing 24/7 and stuff, then that can be a very, very, I don't know, decent investment. But I would say it is always, think about it like that. How much is 800 gems? Yeah. So if you would purchase 800 gems with gold, that's like 340 gold. So how many times do you have to purchase the fishing lure to actually get value from the infinite fishing lure? It takes a while. It takes like hundreds of hours of fishing. Yes, at some point you will have value, but before that you will not have value. I think the only value that you should really consider is actually the convenience of not switching around all the time. So I would say if you have value from that, then you're good. Then everything is fine. But yeah, I would say for me personally, I would say it's not worth it because I don't fish like hundreds of hours. But if you do, then that can be a very valid thing to do. And it can also be because of the convenience. But like I said, I don't fish that much. So I think for me, it's even from the convenience not worth it. But if you do, I think it can be worthwhile and it will pay off at some point. It will, yeah. There we go. Yes, now we are here. I'm somewhat of a healer, so do we even have that thing activated, or does it only work at the end boss? I think it might only work at the end boss, the challenge mode. I have no clue anymore. Did this like once when Ad Infinitum came out. Since then I never did it again. Very good, we did it. We activated it. That's good. Guys, you have to go there. There we go. No, we don't. Nice, we did it, finally. I can't do the skip yet because I don't have a sword, which is obviously very weird. There is actually a sword, so I can do the skip next. Very good. You don't have to do the things then. But the challenges for the Ad Infinitum is so power grab nowadays, it's really not important anymore. You can see we have full boons, full boon coverage. Let me check if I am alacrity support. I think I am quickness, so I can switch to alacrity because we have a firebrand. Very good. And I have a sword. So let me get the loot. And can switch to Mirage. Equip the sword. And can do a jump here. And nope. It's on Mirage, it's a little bit harder to be honest than it is on other classes. Because you have a somewhat like less leap in the to higher leap. It's more like a horizontal leap. I need a vertical leap to get a lot of value from that. Oh my god. I can get there. I will get there at some point. Yeah, you can do it. It's possible, but it's easier on Guardian, for example. And maybe my teammates will be there anyway before me. I just need to get here, you know, on this stone piece that sticks out, and I can get the jump and go up. But it's almost. Is Virtuoso a good class now? Yes, it is. It is really good in PvE as a power or condi build, and it's a somewhat good class in roaming. It is a really good class in Zerg play in World vs. World, and it's a really good class, a really solid class to pick in PvP right now as well. Maybe even the best Mesmer spec right now. Oh god, I will get there. I will get there. Probably after my group is already done with the other stuff, but I don't need on this one, the other upper one here. I'm not even sure if I don't know, you can do it on Mirage, but it's somewhat challenging. It's somewhat challenging, to be honest. You can swap in mid-air the weapons so that you have some, like, the momentum keeps going, but I'm not sure if it's enough. Yeah, my aiming is a bit off. I don't know. It's a bad showcase of this one, but with other classes it's easier. So if you know the skip now, so you should be able to do it on Guardian and on Warrior, for example. But it's doable on Mesmer. But apparently my group was faster anyway, so there's that, I guess. This can GG and come up. Very good. There we go. Now we can do the final challenge mode here with the reduced healing, I think. I think it's the reduced healing though. Pretty sure about it. Is Condition Harbinger viable in Fractals? Yes, I would say it is viable. I would not recommend it if you have other options, but if you like it, it is definitely viable. I would say personally, it is better at the highest level of Fractals in challenge modes. In my opinion. Does it mean it's like unplayable? No, not at all. But typically, like especially in quick play fractals, you will have a way easier time playing a power build because stuff just dies so fast. Like even in normal T4 fractals, stuff dies so fast that you will not get all your condis up before the boss is already dead. So you can play it, but it's better to play something else, I would say. Very good. That was not challenging at all, to be honest, for the challenge mode. Very good. There we go. And is your open world guide for Virtuoso still viable? Yes, it is still viable. There were small nerfs to the damage output of Spear, but it did not affect the build in any way other than small damage nerfs. So that's that, I would say. So easily still completely fine and playable. Yes. Yeah, Condi Harbinger is really good in CMs, but only in challenge modes and fractals. I would not recommend playing it like in fractal level 12 or something. That is like a power Harbinger is better. There is like a Reaper is better because you really kill this stuff too fast. But in challenge modes, it's really good. Exactly. Good point, of course. Tier 2 daily. Is it only one daily? Wait, where are they? Let's ask him. Okay. No problem, Filthy, no problem. Always happy to help. So, we need a little bit more for the fractal incursion and then we get the Like a few more, and then we finally get the last piece of our big like unlock with the legendary starter kit, and we finally like make some big progress here. And we also have to play some World vs. World later. Always forget that I really want to get into World vs. World. But fractals are a good place to get some gold as well, so I guess we have to play both. Yeah, I noticed that, so I usually don't even do the rotations. Spells in Shroud are powerful enough to kill stuff. Yeah, exactly. So power scaling is quite high actually in the Shroud skills in Harbinger, so that's why you probably notice the difference, why Shroud is actually, even on a Connie build, somewhat decent as a Harbinger. But yes, it's definitely the case. You're definitely right there, that Guild Wars 2 is really favoring power builds in easy content, like extremely. So I would say if you only have access to Connie Harbinger, don't worry, it's completely fine. But if you want to get the best for your time, it's better to go for a power Harbinger or any power build. So let's swap back to the dagger, I guess. There we go. What fractal level do you start to need a healer? That depends obviously on the group. So sometimes you have a group that can do like tier 4 fractals without having any healer, because you just kill the stuff fast and you don't need the healer because your allies know what they're doing and don't get damaged. But I would say if you play tier 4 fractals, so starting at level 75 or something, a healer is not mandatory, but it helps your group. Some people even play without a healer in challenge mods and fractals. That is also okay if you know how you are able to survive them. But it's definitely not for everyone. So I personally would say starting at level 75, or maybe if you're in a bad group even before then, you might need a healer. That is my assessment, I would say. But it obviously, like I said, is heavily dependent on the party members. If you have a party member that is like tanking every single hit of a boss, you will need a healer way earlier than if you would go for something that is like someone that like dodges everything, has crazy evasion uptime, or is just a very skilled player. That's just how the game works in that regard. A healer can only heal players, or is only necessary to heal players if the players are not able to sidestep, dodge, avoid attacks, whatever. Yeah. And in Guild Wars 2, especially nowadays, there is a lot of feature creep with how easy it is for some classes to survive and to just dodge stuff, even in their rotation. For example, Power Virtuoso is a really good example. It's really easy. It has a lot of evade uptime, a lot of block uptime and vulnerability. You don't really need a healer in a lot of cases, because you will just avoid the damage anyway. But of course, if your party doesn't know that, doesn't have that, then it's oftentimes better and safer to have a healer. So, I guess stability. I don't even know. You know, this is way too early to have a healer, but I don't have better gear, so I will just play the healer, I guess. What is your favorite healer and why? So right now it's definitely Chronomancer, because Chronomancer is the most flexible one. It's so flexible and it's really fun to play. I can carry groups like crazy. You will notice that when I play here more on this account in higher level fractals, I will carry the group without even letting them notice that. Yeah, because it's really easy to survive, to make your party members survive stuff that they are not really supposed to survive. Because I can just do mechanics, do all the CC, do all the healing, and they will survive. In most other healers, especially in fractals, struggle with at least one of the or some of the mechanics that I encounter here. Chronomancer does not. And the same goes for raids and all that stuff. It will change with the expansion, I can tell you that already. With Troubadour coming up and Paragon and all the other good supports coming up as well, that will change to some extent. But I think Chronomancer will always be a very, very strong pick. So that's why I chose Mesmer and Chronomancer for this 0-2 challenge as well. There we go, some of fractals. Very nice, very nice. You see, we already acquire quite a little bit of fractal relics and stuff, so not bad. We can purchase some more stuff, some more sanded pieces, while also getting, of course, more gold. Oops, not talking. Clicking ready is more important. Scepter Cutter is still viable, yes. It is actually one of the best builds to play. Scepter Fire Catalyst is very, very strong, so it's a very good choice. So don't worry, you can still play it. Yes. Yeah, I think for support, Mesmer is a very good choice. But I would say if you're not bound to Harbinger, Patricia, I think you can also go for Power Reaper. I think Power Reaper is also a very, very solid pick for Fractals especially, because you are very, what can I say, survivable while also having a lot of CC, which is obviously if you don't have a healer for easy Fractals, which you're playing power builds in typically, it's very nice to have some kind of self-sustain, self-buffing while also surviving very long. Harbinger struggles a little bit more with the surviving stuff, so I would say maybe you play a Condi Harbinger and a Power Reaper. It can also be a valid pick. That's one of the things that I mentioned. I will just double stealth my party members here. So this is something that any other Mesmer spec will not be able to do, you know. So I will just double stealth them, and we are almost done with the jumping puzzle here. And if I play Mirage, if I play Troubadour, I will only be able to do that once. Chronomancer can do it twice. That is really strong. We will also see the pull here is very effective. I can use it multiple times if I wanted to. So Chronomancer has a lot of value just because of that. Yeah. I really like healing games, but so far my Firebrand have been useless in PvE. I feel like I'm doing quite well in ranked PvP. Yes, in ranked PvP, Firebrand is a solid pick. It's not the easiest, but it's a solid pick. In easy content in Guild Wars 2, a Firebrand in PvE is not necessary. But if you play it very well in hard content, it can actually carry your group. But you need to be playing it well. If you don't play it well, you will notice that you will have some healing output lags. You will have some quickness uptime lacking. So it's really all about understanding why you should pick Firebrand and when you should position correctly or how you should position correctly. Stuff like that is very important on Firebrand. Heal Evoker, if they don't buff it, then I think it will be a very niche and very like, I wouldn't say bad build, but it is a somewhat bad build. I tried it in the beta event and I can tell you it worked. And I made it work even with a lot of boon output. But was it better than Tempest or even Heal Catalyst? No, it wasn't. So I would say if they don't buff Heal Evoker or buff Evoker in general, then I don't see Evoker being like an insane healer. Does it mean it's unplayable? No, not at all. I just would not recommend playing it over the other Elementalist healing specs. Which is okay. You know, not every single elite spec has to be all roles at one. I think a lot of Elementalists expect that, but I think that's not how it needs to be. But we will see. If ArenaNet is also of the opinion that Elementalist needs to be a healer, DPS, and a support in offensive ways and whatever ways, Bruiser, whatever, everything in one kit, we will see. We will see. Really, 150 Mystic Clovers. What's the best way to get them? So I would say going for all the Clovers in the Wizard's Vault. Then I would recommend going to all the weekly vendors. There are like raids, fractals, strike missions, World vs. World, PvP, the vendor from the Mystic Forge. And then after that, you will probably have like, I don't know, maybe like 40 or something per week that you can get. You can get reward tracks. You can go in the Mystic Forge and say, okay, RNG helps me to get this, but that's the last resort. Before that, I would always say reward tracks are good and the vendors. Those are the best choices after the Wizard's Vault. There are some achievements that give it as well, but the last resort, if you need so many, is typically only just get them from the Mystic Forge. Yeah, DPS Mirage is not for normal people. That is true. You have a lot of like mobility in the kit. It's really somewhat challenging to get it perfect, the rotation, and it doesn't work on every fight. So it's not for everyone. That is a good point. That was quite close. Which class would be good for a player in World vs. World? Zergs. It depends what kind of role you want to fill, but I would say to start out with, I would always recommend Scourge. It's very easy. It helps the group with strips, with barrier, with cleanses, with healing, and it's a solid pick overall. Oh my god, I need to press my spacebar to actually get there. Too hard apparently. But yeah, I was really like, I think Scourge is a good pick, but you can play a lot of other picks. Like Firebrand is good, like Scrapper is good, like what else is good. There are so many good picks nowadays. You should just pick the one. Nice, now I get teleported. Very good. You should just pick the one that you like, the class, and then there is probably a Zerging build that works for you. Nice, another one done. 2 more to go, and then we go in World vs. World, I guess. Just watched your Gale Shot review, and yes, that is exactly what I would enjoy in terms of playstyle. Perfect, yeah. And I think they will actually make Gale Shot exactly like it was in the beta event, maybe even make it somewhat more fun and make some changes to it that makes it more interesting. But I think Gale Shot is already one of the specs that is somewhat perfect, so I think they will just leave it like it is and you will have fun with it. I will, for sure. Next one is Ether Blade. Very good. I do like the Blight system and never die in PvE, but yes, Reaper is easier with the second health bar. Yeah, I would say if you can survive on a Harbinger, then you can survive on any Necromancer spec. And if you like Harbinger, then you will probably have a very, very fun time playing a Power Harbinger. You can just check out the Snowcross guides about the Power one. It's very, very strong. Or just even in competitive modes, Power Harbinger is right now a really good spec. So overall, Harbinger, good one, good choice. Yeah, Kek W, for sure. I'm just really bad at jumping puzzles. That's why on my main account, I did like almost any jumping puzzle once, and that's it. Like, never again, never again. I really dislike jumping puzzles, or not true. I think the idea of a jumping puzzle is actually quite fun. I'm just really bad. The more I progress in a jumping puzzle, the more nervous I get to making the jump. You know, the first one I will get always. As soon as I go and get to the second, third, it goes like I get more nervous. And at some point, I will just say, oh my God, this is the last jump. I have to get it done. And I always fail, like always. And then I'm just like very, very sad because I failed, of course, in the last minute. So, come on. Where is it? Wait, is it not here? I think it's here, isn't it? I never do the low level fractals, to be honest, so I don't even know where the boxes are. Hey, did I miss something? Why can't I activate it? Weird. Where is the... I guess it doesn't work. So let's catch up on chat. Let's say I like how Revenant looks, but I heard it's a difficult class. Which spec should I go for if I want to play Revenant, but make it a bit easier? Herald. So Revenant is not necessarily difficult, I would say, but it's I would say somewhat unique with the energy management. So I would say if you understand that, it's not challenging at all, or not really. So I would say if you want to go for the easiest one, go for Herald, and all the other ones are not necessarily harder, but they are maybe a bit more punishing. So I would say go for Herald and play Quickness Herald, and you will have a very easy time, very solid big pick in all game modes. Yeah. The jumping puzzles would be fine if they didn't coat all the surfaces with soap. I agree. So what is going on here? Hey, did I not activate that stuff? I thought I activated it. Why would the lasers already spin? What's going on? I think it might be bugged, to be honest. Why would the laser spin up here when I already activated this stuff? That's classic experience. Lonely Tower Fractal boss have that orb mechanic. Is there Willbender to gather and kill with lifesteal? And I was thinking, wouldn't Minstrel Harbinger work there crazy too? So the thing is, you want to have a build that not necessarily has a lot of lifesteal. You want to have a build that has a lot of multi-hits. Yeah. And you get the lifesteal from the mechanic in the fight. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Lonely Tower, Challenge Mode Fractal, or all modes, but Challenge Mode specifically, has a very specific mechanic where a build that collects the Gluttony Orbs gets immense amount of lifesteal. And it scales with the attacks that you do. So if you have like 100 attacks, they will all deal crazy amounts of lifesteal. But if you have one attack that has crazy amounts of lifesteal, that is just less than having 100 attacks that have crazy amounts of lifesteal. Hope that makes sense. So yes, Harbinger might have higher lifesteal numbers, but it has way less multi-hit attacks. Like playing a Willbender, you have like 27 attacks all at once. The Harbinger has 3 attacks at once. So you have way less damage and way less healing, even though you're playing Minstrel. On a Harbinger, oh my god, let me respawn, very good. I think it might be, oh, did they do it? Nice, they did it. Very good. Now I can do this. Where's the last one? There. There we go. There we go. Nice, finally done. I guess we take some stability. Yeah, very good. But yeah, Willbender is by far the best option, the next best option in Lonely Tower. Now, I would say after Willbender is Catalyst and maybe Power Scrapper, but they are way worse, like way worse than Willbender. Willbender will probably be never dethroned because it has a trait that just lets you spam your attacks even faster than you already do. And you have so many multi-hits attacks baselines, it's just almost impossible to dethrone it in 100 CM. It's almost impossible. Just found your video about a single OP build for our game modes on Herald. I will give it a try. Exactly. That's a good one. That's a good one for you then. Good point. As always, if you want to see any build guides and you can't find them on my YouTube channel, you can just type !builds. Or if you're on YouTube, scroll down to the description and there is a spreadsheet of all my builds where I list them, how they work for all game modes, what gear they use and stuff, and you can just find the video for you so that you don't have to look for it on YouTube itself. Very helpful. Hopefully. Yeah, exactly. It's about the multi-hits. It's always about the multi-hits. That's why Harp is not bad, but it's way worse than Willbender there in this specific one. Okay, interesting. An achievement. Yeah, makes sense, Patricia. Yeah, exactly. You have 100k. I saw some numbers, some people that were going crazy with a good group going up to 150k DPS on a Gluttony Willbender. So yes, Willbender is the best. Like, there is no one denying that, I would say, that played it before. It's extreme. It's very fun. I think it's, to be honest, since I played this specific build, 100 CM is actually not my most hated fractal anymore. I'm not joking. Because of this specific build, because it's very fun and very entertaining to play. But if you play another build, then I would definitely say it can get way more frustrating. It's 100 CM might not be the one for you, but if you play the Willbender build with the Gluttony mechanic, oh yeah, this is a good one. But of course, most of you in chat probably have not played this fractal yet, and you don't understand what I mean, but it's a really gimmicky fractal, feels more like a strike mission because you have a lot of mechanics to take care of. You don't have that much like of a specific like burst phase or something like that. It's more like you have one guy that does like insane amount of damage. All other people are like really only focused on supporting this player, maybe with one exception. But it feels more like a strike mission fight than a real fractal. And I hope that the new fractal that we will get with the next expansion is way more focused towards the normal fractal experience that we had before, and focuses on maybe multiple boss fights like the Nightmare Fractal, maybe even some kind of thrash mobs in between, like a dungeon style, stuff like that. I really hope that will be the case. I'm always way more for this, because if I want to fight a single boss, then I go into strike missions or raids. I don't really want to play fractals just as a 5-person strike mission. That does not really make click for me. And I hope that they understand that. Very good, one more to go. We are fractal level 33. We are slowly increasing our fractal level also, so we can open the things more easily. That's good as well, I guess. But yeah, as always, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. I'm always happy to answer here on my CO the Hero account. I'm also making my slow progress, so it probably helps you just watching the stream anyway. So I'm playing here the healer build, classical heal chronomancer, nothing special. But of course I'm not having the perfect gear for it yet. Still working on my last ascended gear piece, while of course also trying to get more ascended trinkets. Yeah, it's a long road. At least it feels like a long road. So can I do that alone? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, but I'm quite excited. We got some news last week about the skimmer, and I think it was really nice. I think the skimmer looks very promising, and I hope that we get more news about the next expansion coming this week, hopefully. If not next week again, I really hope that we get more news, not only about the raid and the hairstyles, which is confirmed that we will get, but I also hope we get some news about the legendaries, about the maps, about the general progression, maybe the future, maybe some kind of roadmap about how they see the rest of the year, come next year with the next expansion, what they have planned and stuff. I really hope we get some more information about that. That's always something that I really enjoy, seeing some teasers, some sneak peeks about what's actually happening. So I really hope we will get that quite soon. But who knows, maybe they keep it close to the chest. But I'm excited. Either way, I'm very excited for the expansion. Until then, I have a lot of stuff to do here on the Zero to Hero account, but when the expansion drops, I will be very excited to see what's actually gonna happen in the new maps, do some new strikes or raids, however they will be called there. And I'm just very excited for the new elite specs. You know, you can imagine I'm having a blast making content about new builds, new elite specs, and I will probably be busy doing elite specs, build crafting, and probably tier lists for the at least 2 months or something when the expansion drops. So will be very fun for you to watch, because I will have a lot of experimenting on stream and a lot of videos about this and a lot of tier lists about the topic as well. Thanks, Grutsu. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the prime. Really appreciate the support. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, happy to help. Happy to help. Don't worry. And thanks for the support. So I think we can just pull them here. From here. There we go. And hopefully my party members are also coming and helping me. Yeah, Troubadour will be very fun. I played it, and I was, before playing it in the beta, I thought, yeah, it might not be for me. Feels a little bit slow. It feels not as exciting as Chronomancer or Mirage. But when playing it in the beta event, it was so broken, and like broken in a positive way, like completely insane how power crept it is. I will enjoy it. I'm pretty sure about that, and I will have a lot of fun carrying groups with Troubadour or just getting carried with other good players. So it will probably be a very fun spec to play around. But I think, like I said before, Gale Shot will be very fun to play. I think Amalgam will be really fun, at least for me. And there are so many good specs. Even Paragon, after trying it in the beta event, I was really hyped about. There are of course some specs, like I mentioned earlier. Conduit, I'm not looking that forward to if they leave it exactly like it is, but I doubt it. I think Luminary doesn't sound like that exciting. And there are some specs that are not for me, like Ritualist, it's straight up not for me. I'm not a big fan of minions in general, like pets, AI. I don't like that. And I will not enjoy Ritualist for that matter, even if it will be good and if it will be like very fun to play for those people here. But I will play it, I will have some fun theory crafting around it, but it will not be my new main in that regard. But yeah, there will be so much stuff to experiment and a lot of stuff to talk about the new expansion for sure. And I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm very hyped for like in a little bit more than a month, and we will be able to try it out. That's what I want. That's what we need. Very good. We did this one and one more boss. Welcome, Abri. Welcome. Glad you liked the videos, yeah? And more to come, yeah? I'm still working on more progress for the Zero to Hero, and yes, we will continue for at least one more month, and then we will probably do some kind of hiatus where we have a short break for the expansion, and then we will return to that at a later point. How do I get Superior Rune of the Trapper? You can only craft Superior Rune of the Trapper yourself. You cannot get it any other way. So if you do not have access to the crafting bench, where you just have to purchase the recipe from a vendor there, from one of the crafting vendors next to the crafting benches, then if you don't want to craft it yourself, then you have to go for a different rune or go for legendary runes. There is no other option, sadly. That's just how it is designed. I don't know why, that's just how they designed it. What do you think? Which weapon do Gale Shot use? So I think Gale Shot will be using Longbow, because you can use a lot of projectiles from Longbow and get a lot of value from that. Other than that, I would say you will be stuck with Sword X or something like that, or maybe XX. So I think you will use a lot of melee weapons on Gale Shot and use the Gale Shot bow for the range part. I think Longbow is only good because it has you will use it mostly in melee because you will use it for getting a lot of projectiles. So typically, I think like the best option is probably still X offhand. It's like carrying Ranger DPS quite drastically, but it's not necessary actually on Gale Shot. It's not necessary. So Gale Shot will have a lot of different experimentation going on. So we will have to see what's absolutely the best one. But I think Gale Shot will still stick to a rather similar build than normal DPS Ranger specs. I'm good, I'm good. How are you, Domenico? How are you? I will be using Longbow on the Bear Pet, just like in the good old days. Ah, yes, the old Bear Ball Rangers. Yeah, I think you can use that. I'm not sure if the Bear will be the best choice. It's a very tanky pet. It's not really necessary in a lot of content. But the Longbow with the buffs to it on Gale Shot specifically seems like a quite decent weapon, yeah. Not necessarily always the best, but it has a very good burst output. And with the Gale Shot bow, you have a third weapon set, so to say. So if you used your rapid fire, you might even be able to just say, okay, I swap to the Gale Shot bow until the rapid fire comes off cooldown again, so you are not stuck on Longbow without dealing any damage. So yeah, overall, I think solid idea, solid idea. Exactly, the maximum range of this new Gale Shot bow is really good, and then just playing a melee weapon makes a lot of sense. But of course, it's not required. You can also stick with full range if you really like the playstyle of that. Especially in competitive modes, I would say that's probably a somewhat decent like playstyle and choice. So there we go. We did it. We did it. And 34. Very nice. Fractal level 34. I like Astralaria. I think Astralaria is a very fun journey to go for. It's a very nice and like you remember the journey. It's very unique in that regard. It has a very cool skin. It's quite expensive, I have to admit that. But if you like that kind of, I don't know, journey, legendary, prestige item, it's definitely a good one. I like Astralaria. I think it's one of the most interesting legendaries to go for. I have an ult with POF and Heart of Thorns. Do you think I should do a Fractal Mirage build or Reaper? I think Mirage is worse in Fractals than Reaper. I would go for Reaper personally. I think Reaper is more flexible, has power damage and a lot of CC. Mirage is always very focused towards condi damage, and I don't know, it doesn't feel perfect, to be honest, for most of the time in Fractals. It is very good at playing, for example, in... Ooh, there are a lot of people here. It is really good in like some specific challenge modes, but that's about it. Okay, so I want to get into this. Let's tune it down a bit, just to make sure that we have the best possible outcome. I also want to go for Chronomancer. There we go. And maybe we can get some nice kills, some defenses. I really want to get some loot. Nice. I think this is the time to play World vs. World on a new account here. You can see we got some kills already. Now we're pushing backdoor. I think they got some rallies. That doesn't look that good. It was such a good start, but we didn't get like I have almost no value, you know. Just want to say this here. I'm just a target dummy. I have almost no value on this build. I have to switch some stuff. My shatters are good, but my weapon skills are completely useless. I need to have a shield or I need to have a sword. Everything else is like not a lot of value. I guess the gravity well could be a good thing to get. Very nice. Can provide some healing to my party members. I mean, not bad. We got some kills. Very good. Yeah, that was already more kills than I got like the last roaming stream. So not bad, not bad. Let's just stick to the commander, I guess. As always in World vs. World, as always. Just stick to the commander. Let's equip this sword. And I guess we want to go for some stuff like that. Chronomancer, Alacrity, some well healing, I guess. And probably the shield in the offhand. We want to have a, no, maybe focus and shield are so good. Maybe I want to replace the staff. Let's do it like that. Just for my world versus world build here. I'm switching all my build, all my gear, all my stuff. But what can I do, you know? That's just world versus world. There we go. And null field is good. And the stability mantra. No, I can't get it. Okay. There we go. That's more like a world versus world build now. A little bit more at least. Now we can help our party, our squad here. And we can make some progress, you know. That's why I'm here. I want to get some more progress in my Gift of Battle reward track. And if I can get some level ups, that's even better. Then I can finally unlock my rival for my Chronomancer. That's the goal here. I almost got... Oh, wait. I will catch up in chat in a second. I did not expect the enemies to be here. Very good. It's... Oh my god. Gravity well. Nope. Some... Sadly, they all had stability. You know, if they don't have all stability, it's actually... Get a pull? Nope. We got some kills. I think we won this fight. Very nice. Very good. Get some loot. Get some world versus world experience. No, they pulled me. Now the others coming here. No. Sad. That's where I died. Unlucky. Okay. At least we got some kills. Come on, kill me, please. There we go. Okay, let's catch up and check. I almost got full Ritualist set for Chronomancer. Does it have any application other than PvE? You can play it for roaming. I have a build guide about Ritualist gear specifically for roaming, but it's mostly a PvE build. It works as a boon DPS Chronomancer or a boon DPS Mirage. That's it. Everything else, Ritualist is not the best choice. Ritualist is really squishy, even though you have some vitality, but you die very fast. So you cannot be a tank, you cannot be a healer. It's more like a support. It's really support and that's it. Support DPS. So it works there very well, but in World vs. World it's only for a roaming build, maybe if you play it correctly, but it can be quite challenging. Okay, I think we lost that. Got the Trapper runes. I need to change my spear to Viper. I can't seem to find Viper exotic description. Sometimes you have to craft it yourself. I'm not sure. Some of them are not available, but you can check the wiki if they have it. But I think Viper you have to craft yourself again. Some of the stuff is really annoying to get. Yeah. Do you think the other NG specs beside Mechanist is also beginner friendly? I think Holosmith is somewhat challenging. I think Scrapper is in the middle. I think Scrapper is more challenging than, for example, Mechanist, but it's easier to play than Holosmith, and I think Amalgam will also be somewhat similar to Scrapper. I think Mechanist is by far the easiest. That is just... I really think so. But that doesn't mean you should not play it. I think it's actually, if you like it, you should probably still try it out, and maybe you will actually enjoy it in the end. Definitely. Always give all the stuff a try. Maybe you will actually enjoy it more than you think, and in the long run you will thank me for just pointing out that you should try it. What is the easiest legend armor to get? The easiest is by far the open world one, but it's not necessarily the fastest. The best one is always the one that you play the most. So if you play only open world, get the open world one. If you play raids, go for raids. A mix of them is always the best option. So if you have play raids, open world, PvP, world versus world, a mix of all of those will get you the fastest, but the easiest to get without any like necessary problems. It's just farming open world with the open world armor. Might not be the fastest for you specifically, but it is definitely the easiest. You don't have to have any knowledge about the game in that regard. Don't die, I'm sorry. Are you going to be selling the legendary weapon? No, I will make it here on this account because I want to showcase how fast you can actually get a legendary weapon. I will not get the legendary weapon just to sell it. I think that would be somewhat boring. I think that's not necessarily the nice thing to do and showcase how a new player should engage with the game. I know I could make a lot of money doing that and maybe even send it to my main account, but I really want to showcase that it's really is easy or somewhat easy with the starter kits to get legendaries in Guild Wars 2. That's my showcase. Yes, so when I do changes for builds and stuff, I always have like the meta build in mind that you have to play for that, because I'm quite good with memory. I remember a lot of stuff. And especially on my main class, or not main class, but the class that I play a lot, Mesmer, I know all the traits. For example, for Revenant, I know the same, and stuff like that. So it's very easy for me to pick the stuff that I know what is good. But I have, for example, now I swapped to a World vs. World build that is focused on supporting its allies. So I know I go Chaos, Inspiration, and Chronomancer, and then I switch to the stuff that I know that works very well in this specific scenario. But of course, if a new player, you have to read more, and maybe you don't know if that's a good one or not, then maybe you check out just some kind of guide about the specific game mode. But for a veteran like me, it's quite easy. I know Chaos Inspiration is a good combo for being a support, and that goes for a lot of things in the game. So I would personally say it's probably just the experience. It's just the experience of playing a lot of the game. Holo is good in World vs. World, that is true. Holo is a good pick in World vs. World. It's a nice Zerg DPS while also being a decent roamer. Yes, it's a good trick. Good class. The nice thing about World vs. World is you're gonna get stomped, you will get rewarded as long as you participate. Exactly. So for me, it's surprisingly like easy to get. Oh, they are pushing there. I have to go. Okay, greed for this. But yeah, I will get rewarded with the reward track every 5 minutes. So I don't care if I lose or don't lose. As long as I keep the participation up, I have no problem. Like World vs. World is very easy. And I will also get pips, so I will get some progress there on top of that. So it's just really nice. If I can get some level ups, that's even better, because then I will also be able to unlock the rival via the World vs. World and don't have to do the story. But other than that, World vs. World is a very easy to get into game mode. And I would say quite fun as well. I like it. There's so much junk. Yeah, we can sell that or salvage it. Very good. To go to a vendor at some point. Okay. I'm also keeping all my potions. So if you're wondering from Fractals, we have the infinite potion from the Wizard's Vault, and you should keep all your large mist mobility potions, all of your large mist defensive potions, because you can turn them into more fractal relics, and that's just value. Yeah, straight up value. There we go. Do we fight here? Hopefully we fight. Want some fighting? Okay, no fighting yet. We will fight soon, I guess. Hopefully capture Stone Mist, because then I can activate my World vs. World experience boost. That's why I saved them. Because they will give you for 50 minutes, but if you know guaranteed that in this 15 minutes you get a big chunk of experience, like in World vs. World you get from capturing Stone Mist Castle, for example, especially if it has higher tier, you get even more experience, then I can level up a full level of my World vs. World rank, which is obviously quite nice. That's what we want. More World vs. World rank to get more of those Jade heroics. So what do you think I will need to prepare to play as a Troubadour for gear stats? I would say Minstrel is a good choice if you want to play a full support Troubadour, but you can play full Berserker if you wanted to play, or Assassin Berserker mix if you want to play a power Troubadour, which is also surprisingly good. And if you want to play a Condi Troubadour, you can also go for full Viper. It's crazy how much different things you can have as a Troubadour. It is at least 3 builds. Even Celestial is very good in open world. So Troubadour, tell me a gear stat and it's probably you can make a build around it on Troubadour. Troubadour is very flexible when it comes to gear stats. So yeah, you will probably have the gear stat already that you need for Troubadour builds. Do you think Ad Infinitum is easy to get? Yes, I think it's by far the easiest legendary back piece that you can get, and it's just requiring you to play some fractals, and you will get some gold while farming fractals for the Ad Infinitum. So I think it's just a very, very solid pick. Yeah. I started watching your videos a couple of months ago and I really enjoyed them. Great stuff. Great stuff. Glad to hear that. That's what we like. Yeah. So hopefully enjoy more content that I will push out in the future. So always happy to hear those kind words. Thanks. How many classes have reflect projectile skills? So I think the only class that doesn't have it baseline is Revenant. All other classes have access to reflect skills. So Revenant doesn't have baseline reflects, but you can get, for example, Relic of Earth, which grants you on elite skill uses projectile reflect on yourself. So you will get some kind of projectile. You get magnetic aura, which is a reflect. So every single class has access to reflects, but not necessarily baseline. Only Revenant is the one that needs the relic. All the others, Mesmer. Now I think Necromancer doesn't have it either, but Necromancer can again get the relic that gives you the reflect on elite skill. But Thief has it, Engineer has it, Ranger has it. So there is a lot of reflect in the game. You just need to know how to get it. Yes. What's your most played classes? I would say Elementalist, Mesmer, and Revenant. As my first Ascended gear set on my main Ranger, what would you recommend going for? Berserker gear. I would say on Ranger Berserker gear if you want to be a DPS, or if you want to be a healer like Druid, I would go for Harrier. But for DPS, I would for sure go for... There we go, get an interrupt on this Weaver. It's definitely Berserker. Are you going to try some harder content like raids or strike sims? I will do that at some point as well, yes, on this account specifically, because that's obviously really cool to showcase that even after like 100 hours only in the game, you can already go into crazy hard content like strike CMs or something. I will definitely try that out, but I'm not sure if that's the goal before the expansion. I will get it at some point, but not necessarily before the expansion. Debating power or healer, giver or harrier? I would say probably power is more versatile because you can play power soul piece, power untamed, and power gale shot when it comes out. Healer, harrier, or giver is only played on druid. Every other ranger spec doesn't use harrier at all. So that's why I would probably go for power. No, the Ventari bubble doesn't reflect, it deflects. That's the difference in Guild Wars 2. A lot of skills have deflects, so they just destroy projectiles, but the Ventari bubble is one of them. But reflect is stronger in most cases. There are some exceptions, but in most cases it's stronger. So it is actually reflecting the projectile. So if I put down my feedback and the ranger shoots me with an arrow and they don't have unblockable up, they will hit themselves. If I just have a deflect, the arrow will have no effect, but it will also not kill them. Yeah, that's the difference. What's your take on the Revenant spec from the upcoming DLC? I think it has potential, but it needs a lot of help. It's definitely underpowered, and if they don't give it some big buffs, I think it is the worst spec that they ever released. So I have big hopes for it, that they have some that they understood we need some big buffs. Only then it is really playable. So I really hope they understood that. And I have some. I would say I'm quite confident in that. Are you planning on using gold to buy things with gems, like quality of life things? Yes, I will do that. Currently, I save a lot of money or a lot of gold in the game to get the legendaries, yeah, the legendary for this account. But I will at some point have to purchase stuff like bigger banks, bigger bag slots, bigger, maybe more unlocks in the story journal so that I get access to all the living worlds. Stuff like that might at some point be worthwhile. Oh my god, I just got demolished from the traps. Not sure if I can get a rally here. Probably not. I think we wiped. Sad. Not bad, not bad. Nice try though. Yeah, so there is a lot of stuff to get in the game. For this new account, I focus for now on getting gold for the legendary, but at some point I will also get, of course, stuff that I need for just getting my account more useful. I also need better gear on. Ascended gear is always requiring a little bit of gold on top of that. So yes, everything needs a little bit of gold, I guess. Let's get some supply. Sell some chunk. Very good. Looks way better. Look at this. That's a nice inventory. That's how we like it. Very good. Oh no, the commander leave. No. That is sad. We wanted to get some more commanding going, but now they left. Oh, that's too bad. Too bad. Yeah, I would say all of them have Reflect with the Relic. If you exclude the Relic, like I said, Necromancer and Revenant are the only two that don't have access to Reflect. Some classes like Guardian, Mesmer have insane amount of Reflect access. Some classes have somewhat sparse access to Reflect like Ranger, but they have it. And then some classes like Revenant and Necromancer don't have any baseline access, but you can have a Relic. Exactly. What will be the order of legendaries you will get? So just to showcase how fast you can get a legendary weapon, I will get the legendary weapon first. I mean, I already got the legendary gloves, but that doesn't count because it's free. After that, I would probably go for the legendary trinkets first. Yeah. Healer Druid is not played much. Oh, I did not see one of them for years in Fractals. Yeah, in Fractals specifically, I would say it's quite weak. But in like strike missions and raids, it's surprisingly good, but not a lot of people play it anymore because Chronomancer is so broken and quite easy to play. I would say Druid is actually in raids very, very even, on par almost with Chronomancer, but in specifically Fractals, it's definitely way worse. So I would say if you like to play this specific build like Druid, I would probably play it more in a world versus world or raid setting, strike setting. I would not play it in Fractals that much. Don't forget to visit Dungeon after your session here for some boosters and world versus world experience potions. Yeah, thanks, Jane. See you. Yeah, I'm not completely sure if I want to do that. I think I will get some. I want to maybe save my tickets for getting a world versus world legendary, or maybe I should like save or use the world versus world tickets here to get the Mystic Clovers from here. That can be worthwhile as well because I need a lot of Mystic Clovers. There is so many things that you can purchase, but you are obviously quite sparse on amount of currency that you have. So I will probably like purchase something at some point, but it's not like necessary to purchase it right now, I guess. Nice, the commander's back. Hardest part about World vs. World these days is the lack of public commanders. Absolutely. I think if you're a new player, you might think this game mode is dead, but it's definitely not. It's just like somewhat hidden. You need to be in some kind of server and have some kind of decent commanding structure to actually see that it's actually alive. But for a new player, might not know about that, and it seems somewhat not alive, this game mode. That's the sad truth, yeah. Let's open all the fractal chests here. Very good. Very good. Get some more loot here. And can sell that later. And we should, you see, I think after this we should even be at 200 gold already. So not too bad. We also can open those skirmish chests for some more heroics. We are already 18. That's very good. We need more of those. We need 100. 100 of those heroics. How many do we have? I think we only have those 18. I think we don't have any more. Where is it? There, 18. We need 100 to get the rival unlock for Chronomancer. So that is the main goal. Besides, of course, the Gift of Battle, which is, we are already like decent chunk in. Almost a fourth. Untamed Healer, not a thing either. So Untamed Healer is a weird thing. Untamed Healer has very good healing output, has very good utility in the kit, but has one major flaw. And this major flaw is not having any, like I'm talking zero, absolutely zero access to stability. And that's like in the Modern Guild Wars 2, as a healer, you just have no value. Like no value at all if you cannot provide any stability to your party. That's why Untamed Healer is not a thing. If they give it at least a little bit of stability, they will at some point be playable and even better than Druid, but without any stability access, it's just unplayable. It's just impossible. And is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. I think not every class needs to have stability, but if it's not playable without it, I think then we need to think about giving it, because obviously it feels bad if you have a spec that can be played as a healer, but is like just power grabbed by the other healers by almost always having stability. It's just how it is. but it needs stability. Yeah. How long until the fractal event ends? So the fractal event, you can check that in the, you can check that on the right here, but it's exactly 4 weeks after it started. So you now have 1.5 weeks left until the fractal event ends. 1.5 weeks. So not too bad. I'm not in a guild, but I know you can represent your guild in World vs. World or something. Is there an advantage to that? So you can represent the guild in all game modes, like you can see here, Solid Vote, Kick. This is a guild that you can represent in World vs. World PvE and stuff. There is not a real advantage to that. The only advantage that there is, let's pull this guy and nice, get a kill, is that you can, if you are in a World vs. World guild, you can say, okay, select this as my World vs. World guild. Like here, set this as World vs. World guild, and then you will get assigned in a team with those people that also have that set up. Or you can also claim, for example, the World vs. World camps and say this is ours now. And that means not necessarily anything for your team other than you can say what kind of upgrades you want to unlock or stuff. So guilds in Guild Wars 2, especially World vs. World, it's more like cosmetic nature. There is not a real upgrade to that. I would say if you want to get the most amount of loot, you can get this World vs. World reward track boost from your guild, which is 10% infinitely lasting upgrade, so that you just get a little bit more experience or World vs. World reward track gain. That's the thing what I went for. But other than that, guilds is just cosmetic. Yeah, and you don't even need to represent your guild. It doesn't change that much. Yeah, Aurora and Vision, have fun with it, Filthy. Have fun. Some people really dislike the journey of that. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Focus is such a fun weapon in World vs. World. You know, just putting it down, and the greedy players that come here will get a nice pull in the face. It's such a good weapon. It's really good. I even would have gotten one if they wouldn't have stability. It's really fun. It's you always have to run Focus on Mesmer in World vs. World specifically, because it's one of the best weapons to just completely destroy anyone that is like out of position and doesn't have stability. The pulls in competitive modes are insane. How valuable they are, especially in World vs. World, where you have potentially 50 players fighting and you can pull someone in them. Yeah, it's really good. Is there a bug after trade swapping a weapon that it disappears when you equip it? So maybe you swap the equipment template as well and not only the trade template, because normally it should not disappear. I think that's not possible. But maybe you don't have the Soto weapon mastery unlocked yet, and you have, for example, the dagger on Chronomancer equipped, and you swap from Virtuoso, which is allowed to have it without the weapon mastery, and then you use the equipment template swap or the build template swap to Chronomancer or Mirage, which doesn't have access to it without the Soto one. I think that's the only explanation that I can come up with here, but I don't know. You should see it. I'm on EU. I'm on EU with this account. My main account is ArenaNet Partner, so I can swap it freely between an A or EU, but this account is only on EU. When the expansion is out and I will swap to my main account again, I will also play on an A at some point. Yes. Yeah, maybe that's a good point. It could be the underwater section. Good catch, good catch. Yeah, probably it's actually underwater section with the spear that you equipped it. Is there some sort of to-do list that you are following on the Zero to Hero journey? I have somewhat of a to-do list, yeah, but to be honest, it's already quite short. I want to get full Ascended Gear on this character. I want to get my World vs. World Gift of Battle, and I want to unlock my rival. That's the things that I want to get. And after that, the only thing that I want to get is gold farming for the legendary. That's really like mostly the time sink for the next month, I would say, is just getting a lot of gold. Or stuff that I need to get for the legendary weapon. That's more like it. Yes, I'm on EU too. That is true. Can you explain what you mean by legendary journey? Is there a questline or what? So I'm a veteran that has a main account with over 13k hours. This account here is my Zero to Hero account, where I started from scratch without any like unlocks. I just started from completely anew. And that means that in this account, I really want to get some cool unlocks in a quite efficient manner, and I want to showcase a new player how you can get, for example, a legendary weapon very fast, or at least somewhat fast. And this is the goal here. That is my legendary journey, so to say. If I'm talking about the Generation 2 weapon specifically, which is a specific legendary that you can get, there are 4 weapons that have a specific quest attached to them. So maybe you heard that before. So you have to do some collections, do a specific quest line, and then you will be able to get that done. But normally when I'm here on this account, I'm referring to my journey to get the legendary. One legendary weapon to showcase that it's actually not that hard to get as a new player as well. Yeah, very good, Nedo. We have very intelligent people here in chat. Good job, good job. I don't have any queues right now, to be honest. I think the queue is like 7 or something, so it's very low. Oh my god, we're almost dead here. But yeah, it's very low queue, and I have no lags currently, at least. That might change in the future, but right now I have almost no lags. Okay, my team is, I think, dead almost. No, there are some people here. Okay, we survived, but I have no cooldowns left, like no cooldowns. So I have to be a bit careful here. Which legendary weapon would you get for a ranger main? So I think in general, like the best weapons to get are either sword or spear, because you can use it on all classes. But if you really only play ranger, I think potentially like go for the one that you like the most. If you don't have any preferences, I would say Axe is a good one and sword is a good one. Maybe dagger is a good one as well. But it's really like, if you only play one class, it does not really matter which ones you pick, because it really depends on the build that you play and not how many access to other builds you have. So on a one class, you probably don't have access to a lot of other. Oh my god, it's so close. Okay, we got it. We got the tower, but I'm dead. Oh, give me the rest, please. There we go. We got someone rests me. Very nice. Thank you. Very good. Thinking about the Fractal event, I think this might be a way of making Fractal God more attractive. Imagine if they'd make the support take that the Mistwalker. You want to have that for the Fractal God as well. Yeah, I think Fractal God is already quite attractive. It's just a very long grind. And you have to see it like that. With the Wizard's Vault providing you with the Infinite Mist Omni Potion, which you wanted probably to get as well if you want to get Fractal God, then you typically will probably get the Fractal Omni Potion first and then go for Fractal God. And both of them need a lot of Fractal Relics. So now you get 20k Fractal Relics like gifted, like just as a present. So really, really good. And I think Fractal God is already quite like incentivized. Yes, I think your point is fun and interesting. Thanks, Mason. Really appreciate the Prime. Thanks a lot for your support. But I think it's not necessary. Fractal God gives you a lot of damage and damage reduction, movement speed, healing. It's really nice. No, not damage reduction, but healing. It's really good in Fractal. So you will always want to get Fractal God. Yes, the healing or some kind of like reviving would be fun, but it's not necessary. It's still a very good thing. Yes, exactly. Legendary is just a grind. It's a grind, and it's, so to say, the long-term commitment, long-term goal for getting a better gear without any big stat or without any stat upgrades. It's just more flashy, and you can change your gear stats. That's the only thing on the fly. Normally, you would have to get a different gear. For Guild Wars 2 Legendaries, you can just swap the stats. Love PvP in this game, but late night matchmaking is so sad. Yeah, I think that's not only in late at night. If you're playing any time when it's not like absolute prime time and everyone is queuing, it will lead to some uneven matches. Let's say, put it like that. And that can be very frustrating if you're playing on the wrong side of the teams. Yeah, very sad. Is Scourge or Druid better for World vs. World? I would say Scourge, but only a little bit. It's not like you cannot play Druid. Druid is a very good support. Scourge is a bit more flexible and you can put more in a squad than Druids. But Druid is very good as well. I think both of them have a very valid place in a World vs. World circ. Not as a roamer though. As a roamer, Scourge is quite bad. I would go for Druid roamer. It's better as a Scourge. But if you're in a circ, I think both of them are quite fine. Oh my god. It's a crazy push. Okay, they actually left. I did not expect that, to be honest. I think they... Okay, now they continue pushing. There are a lot of people. Oh my god, how many are they? There are a lot. I think we will not be able to win this. There are a lot of people here. That's crazy. Nice, we got a level up. And we got 2.5k. That's very good. 2.5k experience just from the level up. Sometimes you get a lucky drop of a keg or something, how it's called, and you will get some more additional experience for leveling up. That's really good. It's nice for this. For this account especially, I want to level up as fast as possible to get some more. Jade Heroics. Very good. Looks not that many people play. Is it late prime time, or... I think it's... The thing is, in Guild Wars 2 PvP, if you get to a... In general, the population in PvP is quite low. In World vs. World and PvE, you don't have that problem. You can play at like 3 AM EU time. If you are an A, you play at 3 AM at their time. It doesn't matter. You will always find people, at least in my experience. In PvP, you have sometimes queue times of 10 minutes, and then you have a match where a platinum player plays with a silver player. And of course, the match is not fun for either one of those. It's just because of the low population in those game modes. It's just sad. It's a really fun game mode. I like to play it. But if you want to go for high ratings and stuff like that, it can be very frustrating. It's just, we have to accept that. PvP is not the main focus of the game. That's just how it is. Yeah, mastery points are, for me, always the bottleneck. It's never the experience. The experience will come by itself. Just playing whatever you like, you will always get mastery experience. But the mastery point is always the bottleneck, at least for me. Yeah. Welcome, Arthur. Welcome, welcome. Howdy. I'm happy I already got my legendary amulet from PvP, so now when I play, I don't really give anything about getting the win rate and stuff. Yeah, definitely. I think you should just try to have the mindset in PvP of having fun. Maybe you have the mindset of trying to get better, trying to improve at your build and the understanding of your game. But you should not say, oh my god, I lost this match, now my day is ruined. Just try to have fun. And in the long run, you will probably enjoy the game way more. And that goes for all game modes, but especially PvP, especially ranked. I would really say focus on stuff that you enjoy. And if you like PvP, play it for the fun of it. Very nice. And decision anxiety on the Ascended Armor to push higher fractals. So I would say don't worry too much about Ascended Armor. If you get your first set, you might be able to swap to a different character, different build with a different gear set way faster than after getting the first one. So if you have access to tier 4 fractals, you will get Ascended gear drops like a lot of the times, and you can swap to a different character with different gear very fast. But the first one is the most important one because it allows you to get to higher level fractals. As soon as you unlock them, you are able to swap to, for example, I don't know, if you played full Berserker Soul Beast and you want to play, I don't know, like let's say a Heal Scourge with Harrier gear, then you will get the Harrier gear way faster because you play a lot of fractals, you get other loot, you get gold, you have more experience how to get that, and then you will be way faster to unlocking the second gear set. So don't have too much anxiety, pick the class that you currently enjoy, play this build, and if you like it, stick with it, and if not, you play it until you have enough gear for the second character. That's how I would do it. Do you ever tag and command? Not yet, not yet. Maybe someday on stream, but I really don't want to overdo my like stuff on stream because you can see I'm already not the most, how can I say, knowledgeable or helpful member for my teammates here. Oh my god. Because I'm reading chat, talking to you. So sometimes it's obviously you can see not the best thing to do things like multitasking and stuff. But if I would also command, I would not be able to read chat that much. Oh my god, they completely turned. I will be so dead. Oh my god, don't. Please let me rally. No, I didn't get her really. Yeah, I know that. I had a lot of characters when I started playing out the game, and it's definitely something that I can definitely see and feel you. But don't worry, it will get better. You can be able to play all 9 classes at some point. That's how the game works at some point. You will just have to start slowly. There are so many. There are at least like 40 people. It's really, really challenging to fight those. They are really like a lot. And we seem like not that organized, to be honest. We just run around and die. Obviously, I'm not the best either, but on this build specifically, but okay, what can you do? Nice. Nice. Even more of those. That's what we like. Very good. We make a lot of progress in this stream, to be honest. How much did we get actually of those? 38 already. Like, not bad. Almost halfway there. A few more and we are good. But it takes, of course, a while. You need to level up quite a bit to get all the skirmish chests here. You seem to chill to command. I don't see you yelling. Push, push, bomb, bomb. Yeah, exactly. I remember, sadly, I think the video is not up anymore. But if you remember back in the really old days, at like start of the game, there was a commander that was like very fun. It was, I think, Red was the guild called. Red Guard. And there was a commander that was like, I think he was only shouting like 3 different words all the time. And it was such a funny video to see that, like a full squad of 10 or 50 people back then. I think squad doesn't exist, but they just were running around together. This guy was just screaming 3 different words all the time, like crazy, very loud. But they killed all the enemies. It was really fun to watch. It's really good. I think it's not up anymore, but it's back in the old day, that was really good. But nowadays, I think you should probably tell a little bit more than just bomb there. But I guess if it works, it's fine enough. But yeah, maybe at some point I have to unleash, yeah, and be the German commander, I guess, yeah, at some point. I have no clue. I think it's just maybe someone just bought all of them. Typically, that should not be the case, Ravi. That should not be the case, that it's that expensive. Wait. Oh, that was so close. Very good, we made it. How do you think if it's possible to fishing while queue for PvP for profit? Yes, it is possible. It's actually quite good. I would go to a map like, for example, probably like Amnoon, like the Crystal Oasis or something, like a big map without any mobs. And you go there where you have like insane amount of fishing spots, and then you fish for like 5 minutes until the queue pops, go into PvP, play a PvP match. If it's over, go back into there and fish a little more. That's definitely a very, very effective way of getting some gold while waiting for a PvP match. Yeah, definitely good idea. Power Mirage with Greatsword would farm them? Yes. It's a good point. Power Mirage with the Greatsword is actually, maybe I should pick that instead of the healer here. But I don't know, I don't have any Berserker gear. That's the big problem here. If I would have Berserker gear, I would go for it. Filthy. I think that's a really good build. I wanted to make a build guide about that anyway at some point, because it's really, really good build right now. Exactly, you guys actually know it. You actually know it. Very good. You know the commander. Very good, yeah. How are Berserkers in SPVP? I think Berserker is decent. It's a decent side noder. It's a decent full DPS with Rival or Greatsword or something. But it's not higher than B tier, I would say, right now in the meta. The meta is really not favoring Berserker, sadly. So if you like it, you can play it, you will succeed. You can actually get to high ranks. You can play any build nowadays to get high ranked in PvP if you're just good enough. But it will not be the build that brings you there. It's more the skill of yourself. Yeah. Welcome. Oh my god, welcome to the stream. I'm not sure. I think those guys are just farming us at this point. So sad. We are just running away. Can I get this? I think. Very good. At least I could help my ally here. But I think we lose this. I think we lose this. I had an Indian shot color in Throne of Liberty, and it was the best time I had in an MMO PvP. Oh my god, I can imagine like the Indian like accent. Oh my god, that's really good. That sounds very fun. I think a lot of times MMOs, a lot of like, not necessarily MMOs, but games with a community are way more fun to play if you have a community. Who would have thought? Yeah, MMOs are after all MMOs, massively multiplayer online games. So you really want to have some kind of community feeling. And if the community is interactive, fun, more exciting to play with, that's exactly what you want. So I always encourage that. Of course, I cannot do that here on stream because oftentimes, like if I would listen or even talk on Discord, I can't really talk to you at the same time. But it makes a lot of sense if you would have fun doing that with, like, I don't know, an Indian short collar. Yeah, sure. Sounds like a fun time for sure. Yeah, I could get some Marauder pieces, but come on. It's like, would I really make the big difference here on like full Berserker Mirage? I would probably die while reading chat instead of like helping a little bit with the healing and boons output. Can I ask a question about a build? Sure, just go ahead, Lucy. Just ask. Saw some build for Chronomancer, but with legendary armor parts. Is it the best in slot for endgame, best DPS? So Ascended gear and legendary gear has exactly the same stats. So if you see my guides, and I'm using my main account for all the guides, I always have legendary gear because that's the only gear that I'm using. But it doesn't mean you cannot use Ascended gear because it's exactly the same stats. Legendary gear just have some different skins and you can swap the gear stats. It's not better. It's not better, to repeat. So just play with Ascended gear as long as you don't have legendary. It doesn't matter. That's the important part. Okay, so we can get some stuff on the bank to clean up the inventory, I guess. Don't like that. Okay, very good. Looks good. I'm not sure what we are doing. Are we waiting here, or is it just like just wait until they are gone? I have no clue. Last stream I asked you about spending $40 on Living World Seasons for the Prismatic Champions Regala. I slept on it for like a day and now they are on sale. That's perfect. Yeah, I was actually surprised to see them on sale as well, but now you should purchase it. You know, the sale is actually a very good time to get those. I was actually thinking on getting them in here in this as well, because 20% for Living World Season 2, Living World Season 3 and 4, it's actually very valuable. So it's definitely, you saved like a decent chunk of gold with that. Oh, their commander is now there. Interesting, a different commander. So maybe we can win now. Maybe, probably not. We will see. But yeah, now is a very good time to get all the Living World Seasons with the sales up. So definitely check it out. Okay, the greens we could beat. Not the reds, but the greens we think that's possible, I would say. Yeah, the Living World Seasons are a very good thing to farm, to get Ascended trinkets, getting just the story and just some more content that you would not get any other way. I think it's definitely a very worthwhile purchase. If you don't have it already, just get it. It's really good. So, can I open those? No, I will just sell them, I guess, then. Some more gold, I guess. Very good. Yeah, I mean, you can see my gold is going up. I will also sell all those fractal chunks and I will go probably to almost 200 gold then. Not bad, not bad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This seems like we are almost done here, to be honest. Sad. I guess we have to do a little bit more World versus World in the future. If today we are not pushing that much. Seems like we're losing all the fights. We're only like, I don't know, 10 people or something. That's not enough to beat the groups. Do you think a low APM DPS Druid build is possible? Let's think. I mean, Druid, if you want to play a DPS Druid, you have to play Condi. So that is, I think, okay. But Druid is somewhat spammy all the time because the attacks that you use for DPS are typically quite short cooldown. So I would say I can think about it and can maybe come up with a build like that. But I would say it's probably never as low APM as, for example, a low intensity Soul Beast or a low intensity pistol unload thief or something like that. It will never reach that low APM. But I think you can make a somewhat low APM Condi Druid. Yeah, I think it's possible. Just play the normal Condi Druid and leave some skills away. That's typically how you make a low intensity build. Yes, I'm currently farming Gift of Battle. It takes a while. I'm only at like a quarter of it, but at least we are making some slow progress. And World vs. World is always like, you don't have to win, you know? Of course, if you win, you get a little bit more loot out of it, but I don't have to win to actually get the Gift of Battle. I can just stay here for another couple of hours and I will get the Gift of Battle too. See you, Mason. See you. Good night. Yeah, Druid, I know. Nah, Power Druid is not that good. Power Druid is sadly... So, Power Druid is a spec that I would say is like, you can play it in competitive modes, but in PvE, this is like a meme. Don't play Power Druid. That is not something that works. Power Druid is lacking DPS, while not having anything that makes it like worthwhile to decrease your DPS. Condi Druid is way better at DPSing. Yes, don't get me wrong, of course you can play it, it's okay. But if you already play a Power Ranger spec, I would either go for Soul Beast or Untamed, which both have a low intensity version, or at least a somewhat simplified version, and have higher DPS than Druid. So why would you pick Druid? At least in my opinion. Yeah, we should also get the boosters. That is true. I'm always like, I guess we should use the birthday boosters. This one I should not use yet because I really want to save that for like a really like capping, for example, Stone Mist or something. And the experience booster, I guess we can just use it. We get some more reward track gain. That is probably the best thing to use it for. Yeah. You can also use some Blackline statuettes to get some boosters, but look at this one. This is 1 gold. This is actually quite expensive. I would rather save it for something like that is really high value. But I don't know yet what I actually want to buy here. I think all of that stuff is, I don't know, somewhat weak. Yeah, maybe the heroic booster can be good. It's probably the best thing that I can get for 3 statuettes. I don't know. Maybe the voucher. Maybe the voucher is the way. Don't forget to hydrate. Good point. Hopefully we get this tower. That would be good. To get finally some world versus world level. That would be good. I was thinking about getting a set of legendary armor. What would you say is easier, open world versus world, or raid? Yeah, so I would say the easiest one to get if you play world versus world is world versus world, because you just have to play for like weeks of world versus world, but you don't have to be good at it. You just stand in world versus world with the reward track up and the the participation up. That's the only thing you need. You don't need anything else than that. But if you like open world, then you can get it way faster. Going for open world, like way faster. If you want to get the absolute fastest, do all 3. Like mix between those 3 game modes and you will get it the fastest. Like 1 piece world versus world, 2 pieces from open world and stuff like that. And of course also consider if you like the skin, if you're going for the skin, then of course consider which kind of pieces you want to get the specific skin, because the world versus world legendary armor has a different skin than the PvP one. But I personally would say raid one is can be very fast, like 5 or 6 weeks if you do all the raid bosses. The world versus world one takes I think 8 to 9 weeks to get a full set, and the open world one, there is somewhere in between, because you can farm it quite fast and you can also be quite slow depending on how many meta events you do each day. So just keep that in mind, but I think a mix of those would be the best one. So what are we doing here? Cap and port spawn. Okay. No, I'm in combat. Why am I in combat? So let's now grab a booster. Where's the booster? There's the banker. Get some booster. Oh my god, but the burst, that's what I wanted. Very good. There we go. Now we have full booster. full booster. That should help a lot. Get more rewards. Yeah, that's a good point. You need to be level 500 to get the World versus World one. Typically, if you have enough tickets, I'm not joking here. You need like, I would say 9 weeks to get to World versus World rank, to get enough tickets to get the Legendary World versus World armor. And at this point, if you play 9 weeks of full, getting all the rewards from those reward tracks, which means like, I don't know, 10 hours of playing, no, not more probably. Like, if you don't have like full pips that you get every single tick, you probably need like hours, dozens of hours, probably like 10 to 20 hours per week to play World vs. World for 9 weeks straight. Probably you will reach level 500 in that time as well. I'm not joking. So I would say, yes, it is a good point that you need that. But I think if you grind it like really hard, you probably will also get a lot of World vs. World experience in that time. Yeah. On which thief build do you usually have the most fun in open world solo? I like Spectre. I'm just a Spectre enjoyer. I think it's just, if I had to pick a specific thief spec, I think Spectre is always for me the most fun one. Does not really mean that it's the same for you, but I personally think it's actually, I really enjoy Spectre. What is this actually? What is this here? Cloud into clouding. Okay, very good. Interesting fight. Nice. We got a good level up. Very nice. Do you also have the reward track enrichments? I currently don't have an Ascended Amulet, so I can't equip the enrichment yet. I would if I have the Ascended Amulet, but right now I don't have it, so I have to be a bit careful. I think we wipe here. The commander died. That's not what we want. Maybe get some support here. No. No, I think we are dead. We are dead. Do you have the guild reward track boost? Yes, I do have the guild reward track boost. On my main account, I have all my characters set up with that. Like my World vs. World characters have like all the boost all the time. So that's really good. But on a new account, you have to be very like careful what you equip and what you wait to use, because of course you don't want to waste all your boosts at a specific moment where you might not even like get any experience or something, because those give also World vs. World rank experience, which is obviously really good if you get a lot of them at the moment. Yeah, at the current like time where you actually play and get a lot of kills or whatever. But if you activated it just for the reward track gain and you kill no one in the next hour and you kept no objectives in the next hour, then, or almost none, then it is quite wasted. It's not completely wasted because you will always get the reward track upgrade. But just saying, for me personally, nice, we get hopefully hit someone, very good. If we hit a few more people, we get the defense. Yeah, I think now we get the defense because you have to hit some people. If you're in World vs. World as a support player, you really want to hit some people so that you actually get some reward exactly like this. Get the defense event up. That's what you want. Very good. Very nice. Is there a way to get fast ascended items? I have Berserker for everything, but I want to try the Scepter for Condi and heal too. So the fastest way, or the easiest access one, is going to the Wizard's Vault and getting those here. Other than that, I would recommend going to my Ascended Gear Guide on my YouTube channel, where I have a very concise like showcase of all the ways to get Ascended Gear, and always recommend for each single piece of equipment where you get it very fast. So that can help a lot. Spectre is also range class. Yeah, Spectre is mostly range, yes. Of course, in Guild Wars 2, it's not like a class defines if you're ranged or not, but Spectre has a lot of range capabilities. Yes, you run typically a Scepter, and you have really nice Shroud skills that also are range. Yeah, it is somewhat range. Yeah, you can also go for the Legendary Amulet directly without going for Ascended, because nowadays with the Return to achievements, it's actually somewhat easy to get. Good point. Yeah, getting into raids can be a high barrier, but I think if you want to really get into raids, join a raid training Discord like Raid Training Initiative, like the Crossroads Inn. Those are really good Discord servers that help you getting into raids, and it's a really nice community there. Any tips for getting back into the game and specifically World vs. World? I would say just get in there. And if you're looking for specific builds, I can recommend either my YouTube channel or another. Like I can make a video about it very soon about other resources that you can get World vs. World builds. Nowadays, Snowcrows has World vs. World builds on their website. You can also go, for example, to Parrish's Discord, which is a really nice World vs. World player that has really the most up-to-date builds there as well. But in general, just get in there, have some fun, and maybe ask around for a guild or something, and you will get some more nice people and a nice community there. That's probably the best thing that you can do. Asking for people that know and have some fun with them together. No, they are coming. I mean, they lost more than we lost. That's actually interesting. What are they doing? I guess that's fine. Yeah, I'm working on it. I have a lot of videos planned, and my to-do list is like 100 different videos long. So I try my best to get there, but it will take a while. Yeah, so don't expect it this week. But in the meantime, like I said, join a Discord server that can help, or just ask nicely in the map chat and something, and you will probably find a guild that helps you out and can also help you with the best builds and stuff. Because I think World vs. World nowadays is really like, if you are solo, you will have a way worse experience than if you play it as a group with a commander, with a guild or something. Because it's really all about joining the groups and having fun in a World vs. World group play scenario. You can even as a... Oh my god, that was a really nasty pull. Look at how many people died. But yeah, if you are a little bit like alone and don't have a lot of fun, and typically joining a World vs. World guild can help you a lot in that regard, I would say. Exactly. I think World vs. World, before the rework to how the servers worked, I think was decently playable as a solo player. You can just, like I just did, join World vs. World and expect some kind of public tag. But after the changes to how the World vs. World system works, the servers, because they are now not really servers anymore, it's more like they are guilds put together. And if you are not really in a guild that plays a lot of World vs. World, you will not have your community and you will not have a lot of public action. If you are playing solo, that can be painful, but as soon as you're in guild, you will actually notice the difference there and will have probably a lot of fun. Yeah. So if you this is typically a focus pull, or so this is like, I put it down and the enemy Mesmer can do the same. If I put it like here, this will be, I can reactivate it and pull enemies that stand in this like circle will get pulled in the middle. So if I put it like here, this guy would be pulled, and even this guy, depending on where I position, would also be pulled. It's very high range. It's 600 range. It's really, really big pull. And that's why if you put it at the bottom, it will also pull enemies from the top. So if I put my focus pull here, like here, and the enemies stand here, this guy would be pulled. So this is really, really strong. That's why Mesmer focus is extremely strong in World vs. World, but in all game modes actually. Yeah, roaming is, I wouldn't say roaming is dead. I would just say roaming is more like, if you want to have a lot of fun playing in a solo scenario, roaming can be fun, but you can get like completely demolished, like completely. Because sometimes you just like fight a single player and then suddenly 10 people jump on you because they are in a guild group. So roaming is more like, it is not as like friendly to start as it was previously. It's still there, it still exists, and it's quite fun to play in my opinion. I play it a lot. But it's definitely not as beginner friendly as it once was. It's really, you get farmed quite a lot. That's just how it goes, I guess. Yeah, you can get all the legendaries in World vs. World without playing Zerg. Yeah, that is true. You don't need that. But of course, World vs. World nowadays is way more focused on Zerging. It's just like Zerg action is like where most, like I would say 80 to 90% of the community is actually actively playing the game mode. It doesn't mean it's roaming is dead. I'm just saying most of the community plays like open world fights like this with like at least 20 players. exactly. It's from server community more like to guild communities. If you are in a guild that has nice open public squads and stuff, then good for you. But if you don't have that, it can be a little bit challenging to get into a like big group with 50 players that is organized or something. How is Spear Warrior for main Zerg DPS? It's quite good. It's quite good. It is not the best warrior. I mean, warrior can be played as core warrior, spellbreaker, or even berserker. Those warrior is surprisingly like flexible as a DPS in PvP, World versus World specifically. So spear is a solid choice there. Longbow is a solid choice. The warrior has so many weapons that are very decent in World versus World. Even greatsword can be good. So if you like spear, I think it's a solid choice for World versus World in a Zerg as a DPS. Yeah. It's quite fun, yeah. And power makes a lot of sense because power in Zergs, nowadays you can play a little bit more as a Condi build as well. They made it possible to play Condi builds as well. However, in Zergs, power is still the main preferred damage type for most squads. And power berserker is definitely, or power spellbreaker or power core warrior, they are definitely very, very common picks like power holosmith. Those are the best DPS picks for most squads. So definitely a good pick there for you. Yeah, for example, Spear Greatsword is a solid combo, yeah. Always depends a bit, of course, what kind of squad you are in, and some people say, oh, this is the best choice, this is the best choice. Always depends a bit on your squad and what you think is makes sense there for your role that you want to fill. But I would say Spear Greatsword is a good one. I think we are just like trolling them. I think at this point we will never fight them really. We are only like not even 20 players. Sad. That's what I mean, you know, you can join a map even with a queue. I think we still have a queue and we have no organization. So it's just at this point, I don't know. It feels like we need some kind of commander tag, a public Discord maybe even. I don't see it's like really going anywhere. Very sad. Are there any Mesmer builds that use main hand X? Yes, if you play Condition Mirage. Condition Mirage is the only main hand X player. You could also play a Condition Chronomancer, but nowadays I think it uses Scepter. But main hand X is on a Condition Mirage is, I think, meta, yes. So my server is called Grand Store, but it's like I said, it's guild specific. So you cannot say I'm on this specific server. I'm currently on this server, but I will at some point get to a different server. Maybe next week or when there's next relink, I will get to Frost Citadel because I'm not staying on this server. It changes every time there's a relink. And it's only dependent on the guild that you selected as a World versus World guild. It's really weird, but that's how it works. That's the new server system. Servers in the beginning of the game were completely different than they are now. Servers, or at least when you start a game, you will be able to select which region, which server you want to join, or nowadays it's only the region, EU or NA. But previously you had to select a server, which then was the World versus World server. Quite easy to understand. Nowadays that doesn't exist anymore. So it's not necessarily like the server matters like to no extent anymore. That's just how it works. There we go. We got the weekly actually. 4 gold out of that. Not bad. So now we want to go to the different map. There we go. Maybe we can get some more action here on this map with the commander. We're only like, how many people are we? Like 7 people on this map, I guess. 4 gold here. Very good. Let's open some chests here. No, nothing. Get some more stuff opening. A lot of stuff opening. Very good. Nothing too special though. We just sell everything. Sell everything. We want the gold. Maybe we can get this tower. That would be good. More experience. That's what we need. More experience. How many of those? 53. Nice. We already got like 50. We need 100 in one day. 50. Not bad. Not bad. To unlock the Chronomancer rival. That's the goal here. When you roam around the map alone, you get as much participation as with a Zerg. So you can upkeep the maximum participation of participation 6 if you just capture 1 camp every 10 minutes. So yes, you get a lot of participation alone. However, you will get less world versus world experience typically, because you will not be able to capture like keeps or something, and you will typically also not kill as many people, which also grant experience. So the experience will be significantly lower, but the participation itself is, I would say, almost it's the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same. There we go. We did it. Exactly. When there is an organized squad, I think it's really nice to have an organized squad and join that. But if not, then oftentimes roaming can be a little bit more fun. I agree. I'm saving those green things to get the rival unlock. This is the important part, because I can purchase it with those testimonies of Jade Heroics, and I don't have to do the story then, which is the most annoying thing for me to do on this account. I don't want to replay like hours of story. So that's what I want. But other than that, of course, I'm saving for the gift of battle. Like I'm almost like, I don't know, let's say 25% in, a little bit more, 30%. So we're getting somewhere, but it takes time. World vs. World is not the fastest game mode. It's a fun game mode, but it's one of the game modes that need time to get there, to get to your goal. But if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always happy to answer. And yeah, let's see what we can do today, what we can unlock here. But I guess if it's like not too much happening anymore, I guess we have to stop World vs. World for today and maybe get some more cleaning up here and maybe some more fractals or something. But it's really like, I really want to get the fractal achievement also done. Of course, before the event ends, we're almost there. To get the legendary starter kit. It's really good. I already got the legendary though. And you will see. Is there a mod or something to lock camera? That auto zoom is annoying. So there is a thing called, where is it? Camera here. Those are my camera settings. And I like to use this free cam. So I'm not sure if you have that enabled, but the free cam is very important because, for example, if I disable this feature and I'm like running and I'm turning like that, you see, it's not my hand that does that. It's like always going back into where it came from. But free cam is very important in my opinion, because I want to run and I want to look like wherever I want to look without my camera like switching back. That can be something that works there. I'm not sure what kind of thing works here with what you mean exactly, but I think this can help if you don't have it. Other than that, I'm not sure. Like this, sometimes, you know, it zooms like in like this is because of the collision with a wall or something. So if that happens, you can't really change that. But yeah, that's just Guild Wars 2 weird things. That is sadly the case. Ah, okay. Maybe it's good point. Yeah, there might be a Blissshot add-on, or at least apparently it is. I just don't know it yet. Yeah, there is a Blissshot add-on that can help you with that. Good point. Thanks for sharing. Nice. There we go. Another Clover. Very good. Very good. Turing Quality of Life is the Blissshot add-on, and apparently there is also a Nexus thing in the Nexus app. Yeah, good point. I typically have to be honest, I don't care. I'm already like so accustomed to it. I can make use out of that before. Like, I don't need that. I played the game for over 10 years, so I'm like currently like I know what is happening and I can like live with that. But if it really annoys you, I think that's a good solution. Like either the Nexus one or the Blissshot add-on. Yeah, good point. Good. Thanks for sharing. Okay, it doesn't help that much. Okay, I mean that's too bad then. I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't know. I think that's just the engine in the game. I think there are some features in the game like direly missing, like really like big. For example, like I want to get customization of the UI. I want to get more freedom in how I can move my camera if I want to. So stuff like that could be good, but I don't know. It's just, I really don't think they will ever give us some kind of big option update. I think that doesn't look like that likely. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, Action Cam is weird. I cannot give you any opinion on Action Cam because I never play with Action Cam. But I know Action Cam has some issues, especially, for example, if you have a lot of ground targets stills, that can be annoying. But yeah, I think Action Cam users maybe have some solutions for the issue that you mentioned here, but I don't know. I really have no clue about Action Cam. It's for me, the game is perfectly fine without Action Cam. I think it's actually more fun for me. So I cannot give you any tips or opinion on Action Cam, sadly. Is it a good idea to do clovers in World vs. World, or is there better methods? So in World vs. World, if you select the right World vs. World reward track, you get a lot of clovers. So for example, all the ones that are only doable ones. So look at this one, it has this infinity sign. That means you can repeat it infinitely. But if you have, for example, like the End of Dragons reward track that doesn't have this icon there, or the hero reward, weapon reward track, the first time you repeat this, or you get this, you will actually get the 7 Mystic Clovers. So yes, it's a very good way of getting loot, or Mystic Clover specifically. So it's a very, very good way. But if you are already at a point where you did all of them, then World vs. World PvP and even PvE are somewhat similar with the Mystic Clovers that you get. World vs. World and PvP obviously give you direct Mystic Clovers, but if you farm in PvE instead and purchase the stuff that you need to craft it yourself or go to a vendor, can also be very nice influx. So choose what you want to go for. Planning to play Heal Firebrand will struggle in open world? No, in open world it's okay. I mean, if you're a solo, that can be a little bit painful because you're a healer. Yeah, in open world that is not that good. You don't deal that much damage. But if you're in a group, it's a very good pick. You help them and you just have to understand how to play the build, like how your healing works, that you need to position correctly to apply the boons and the healing. But other than that, I think Heal Firebrand, perfectly fine. Yeah. I'm good, Yuska, I'm good. How are you doing? What's the best reward track to do in World vs. World now? So I would say the best reward track depends a bit on what you want to go for. I think there are like 4 options. The first option is if you want to get the Gift of Battle for legendaries, you have to get the Gift of Battle. Reward track, makes sense. If you want to get the dungeon achievements, go for any of the dungeon reward tracks. Makes sense? But you will lose out on Mystic Clovers in those. If you want to get the most amount of Mystic Clovers, go for the non-repeatable reward tracks. And if you want to get the most amount of gold, you either go for the Canton reward track or the End of Dragons reward track. Or the End of Dragons one is the repeatable one. And maybe the Chantier Wilds one. Those two are, or any Living World Season 4 one. This one, for example. Those are the most rewarding ones, but only if you have all the others done already. It's really like, they can be like very worth to do a specific reward track if you have a specific goal in mind, because they give you account bound currency on top of the gold. And sometimes the account bound currency can be very annoying to farm any other way, and then it's quite nice to get it. For example, you can get a lot of skins that you need to unlock for Aurora or Vision. You can get those from playing World vs. World. So you don't have to do the meta achievements for those skins. You can just get the skins from the World vs. World reward track, which is obviously really fun if you play a lot of World vs. World. So stuff like that can be interesting to do. Just wanted to mention it here. Been playing your Bruiser Will Bannerman? A lot of fun. The focus offhand is so key. Even with dragon stats, it's very good. Yeah, glad I could help. It's such a cool, really, really interesting build. And I really like the theory crafting behind this build. So yeah, glad you like it too. Exactly. Good that I could help you. Very nice. Oh my god, this guy is seeing like crazy with every single attack. It's insane. Give some stability to my dear friends. Crazy. Very good. Nice, another level. We are pushing here. We are pushing level 8. Not bad, not bad. You really notice the reward track and experience boosters, I have to be honest. They are really noticeable. Very good. Just open everything, I guess. Very nice. And we are already at 15. Get some obsidian shards on top of that. So very nice. Like World vs. World gives a lot of stuff that you need for the legendary. That's the cool part. So you can just continuously farm World vs. World and just get more loot. That's the whole idea behind like World vs. World, just passively getting loot. And for me, it's even better because I also farm at the same time the rival unlock here, like 60% already. Not bad. Is World vs. World only active on EBG? I don't see commanders on other maps. It depends on the time. So for example, on Friday evening, there's always the World vs. World reset. Or if you're on NA, it's Friday noon. And then you get the reset. And that means a lot of players are playing. Does it mean it's guaranteed to be active then? No. But oftentimes it depends also on the server. Sometimes there are a lot of guild groups that play hidden with the tags and you don't see them in public. But sometimes you're on a server that is just not very active. It really depends on the activity of the server. But I would say it can be very active as well. Just depends on the time and the server that you're on. If you want clovers, go for reward tracks that can only be done once, exactly. If you want to have clovers, always go for the single ones that are non-repeatable. But be aware, of course, you will not get infinite Mystic Clovers out of that because obviously they are not repeatable. So you only can get them once and that's it. Does it mean it's a bad choice? No, not at all. You will get them once, then you go for the next non-repeatable one and then you repeat this process until you don't have any one anymore. And then you just stick to the Silver Waste one, I guess, because the Silver Waste one is currently bugged as far as I understand and gives you 7 Mystic Clovers all the time, I guess. But that's about it. It will be fixed probably quite soon and then it's just choose whatever you like. All of them give 2 clovers except the dungeon ones. The dungeon ones will only give the dungeon armor at the end, so don't pick those if you want the Mystic Clovers. Exactly, Ryland. The Region of Tyros is the best repeatable one because you get 7 per track, but in my opinion this is a bug and I think the wiki also says this is an anomaly and I think they will fix it at some point. They probably forgot or it's a bug, whatever, and I think this is not intentional. So that will be fixed at some point. Maybe more, maybe. I really have no proof if there should be 1, 2, none more expansions before we get anything about Guild Wars 3. I have no clue. We will see if they will give us any announcement, if they will give us any news about it, what their plan is for the future. I have no clue though. We have no proof in either direction. We don't know. Why do farm Jade Heroics? So you only get the green ones nowadays. The other ones you cannot get anymore because they are bound to the specific expansion, and the last expansion with elite specs were just End of Dragons. That's why you get the green ones. But I need those to purchase from a vendor the unlock for the rival. So the Soto unlock, to get the Soto weapons for your account unlocked, you have to do a story step, and the story step is quite deep into the Soto story. And I don't want to do that. It's quite useless for me other than the unlock. And I just play World vs. World meanwhile and get the stuff that I anyway want, which is the Gift of Battle, while also getting the rival unlock, just passively. When I have 100, I can do that. That's the idea. Yes, I will play Troubadour, for sure. Troubadour looks very, very strong. I'm not sure which will be my main class. I will probably go into Troubadour jail because I'm a support player typically, and support is less common than DPS. So I will probably play Troubadour. But as soon as I get to play DPS, I will probably play Gale Shot. I'm really looking forward to Gale Shot, just from the design and how it feels. But we will see. We will see. Is it considered abusing and might be a risk or ban if I farm Silver Waste knowing that it's bugged? No. I think if you just farm it with it's not like you are, as soon as you know something is bugged or an anomaly and you farm it, that is, I would say, gray zone. It's okay. But if you do something that is definitely way too good to be true, not this specifically, but if you do, for example, there was an example in the past where you could craft something I think it was an exotic or rare trinket or something on the jeweler bench, and it cost 1 ecto, and if you salvage it, it gave you 5 ectos back all the time. And obviously, that is, everyone would agree that this is too good to be true. Yeah, crafting something that is like infinitely sustaining and giving you more back than normal, that is an exploit. That is not supposed to be like that. So if you would do that for like more than once or just all the time to get gold, you will get banned. But if you have something like that, where this is just a reward track that you will have equipped, and you will just notice, oh, you get 7 for that, and there is not a clear statement that this is the not intentional, then it's not your fault. Yeah. I think it will be probably fixed, though. You can type !mouse if you want to get the information how I have this mouse cursor. But the short answer is it's Blizzard. It's a legal third-party add-on. Do we need to have the gloves equipped to gain the infusion effect? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You cannot get the infusion effect without the gloves. I hope Conduit will get a heavy rework as well. I hope so too. I think we will get some more additional information about the next updates and roadmap and stuff, and maybe even the expansion, hopefully quite soon. But before that, we don't know anything about Guild Wars 3 or any expansion. Yeah, that is a good point. The Omni Potion is a very, very good thing. That is extremely good, maybe too good to be true, but it's not an exploit. I think exploits are something that is somewhat hidden and not like publicly announced like the Omni Potion. So just saying that this specific example with the jeweler thing was just one thing that I remembered. It is clearly an exploit, and I knew that people got banned for that. Yeah. Yeah, it's an overlay. It's just an overlay, exactly. Oh my god, we have a fight. We have a fight. It's crazy. Yeah, it's not for veteran. It's not the best item to get, but it's better than not getting it at all. That's true. There was a big like people were a little bit sad about that you do not get that much value from having the Omni Potion as a veteran. But I mean, come on. You had the Ascended one, I think, quite a while. But what can I say? I like it if you get new players things, so I guess that makes sense. They shouldn't make the responsibility on the player. Fair, fair. Yeah, that was a weird fight. I mean, they said incoming, so I thought there would be like a Zerg coming, but there were like 3 people. It's not really like a big fight though. I guess that's fine. Is that no, it's only tier 1. So in World vs. World, if you capture anything that is not tier 1, so you can see it with the like specific upgrades, maybe I can show you. This, for example, or this one has this shield icon, or this one has 3 shield icons, so that's tier 3, that's tier 1, and this one is tier 0, and you will get more loot for defending it or successfully capturing it. You will get more loot if it's higher tiers. So I hope that this one was tier 3, but it's sadly not, so I will just get the least amount of loot for getting the... if we cap it. It's still not sure if we will cap it, because apparently we have some defenders here. Doesn't seem like that many though. But if they get more, maybe we'll not even get the cap here. Did they finally fix like Dorek AFK farm? So they did a while ago fix some kind of like AFK farming detection. So it helped a bit. I would say it's still not completely solved the issue, but I would say I saw way less AFK farmers than beforehand. But what can I say? I would personally say this guy is annoying, or this woman rather. She fears all the time. But I would say we still have the issue of like there are some people that can be quite annoying as botting and stuff. But Guild Wars 2 is not as like there are not that many bots around, I would say. At least in the areas that I play. Maybe in Lake Dorek we have still some AFK farmers, but ArenaNet is quite drastic with the bans, I would say there. So not too bad anymore. On my main account I'm like rank 4.6 or something, 4.6k. So I'm not even full like 10k rank on my main account. It's just because I don't play that much World vs. World. Like I play a little bit, of course, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to 4,600 rank. But it's the least played game mode of me, like by far. I play way more World vs. PvP and PvE, like way more. And of course now with the content creation I have like, I play even less. It's just, it doesn't mean it's bad. I like World vs. World, it's just like not the most played game mode. Underwater farmers, yeah, that's true. And in Bloodstone Isles and Iceland, yeah, there are still some people farming it. I'm just saying it's better than before. That is just a fact, I would say. And I think they should do more, yes, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. By the way, do you know the fastest way to get spirit shards? So the fastest way to get spirit shards is, of course, you can use your Tomes of Knowledge if you have any Tomes of Knowledge laying around. But you probably know that already. So if you don't want to use them or don't have them, then the fastest way to get spirit shards is farming like open world events that have a lot of mobs like Dragonfall, Specimen Chamber, Istan Farm, stuff like that has a lot of mobs and you will get a lot of experience from that. Other than that, it's really like anything in the game gives experience. It depends a bit how fast you do all this stuff. Fractals can be a decent experience farm, but it's not something that I can say this is the only thing you should do for experience. With Halloween coming up, one of the best farms is the Mad King Labyrinth, so be sure to check that out when it comes out. But in general, I would say there are a lot of farms that give a lot of experience. 300 experience shards in 4 days. That seems like quite a challenge, but I don't know. Maybe someone has a crazy farm. I think I guess with all the boosters, of course, and having like insane like kill time, I guess. But I think it's quite optimistic. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. The Halloween farm is probably like, you can do it 24/7 and get insane amount of experience, and it's really, really easy to get into. So probably a very solid choice, but it's not out yet, so you will not be able to get it in 4 days, I guess. Yeah, I think roaming right now is also not my favorite meta right now. I agree. It feels too slow oftentimes. I agree. But it can also be quite bursty. I think there is not a nice middle ground in roaming right now, which is not the best. I should do a video guide. Yeah, I will do one about Labyrinth and stuff. But right now there is like, you can farm so many ways in Guild Wars 2 and all of them give you a decent amount of experience. There's not a single one that stands out and you say this is the only one that you should do. That's just not true. There are so many different ones. But the lab farm in the Halloween event is probably the best. Yeah. What's the optimum way to rank up Agony Resistance? Just get as much Ascended gear as possible and get the highest Agony infusions. I would say the most economic way would be getting +9 infusions for all slots. And then you are plus 150 Agony Resistance if you have full Ascended gear with infusions and attunement, and then you are good. But just slowly go from there. I have here on my main account, on my main account, I would obviously have full Ascended and stuff, but on this account I don't, so I would just slowly increase my Ascended gear and trinkets and put infusions in there. But other than that, yeah, just play it slow and get more Ascended gear and you will slowly get more infusions in there as well. There is not a best way in that sense. Yeah, I think for new players, Zergs are probably a little bit more fun than roaming, because in roaming personal skill matters a lot. And of course, as a new player, you might not have the personal skill yet. So in a Zerg where there are 49 or even more people around you, your own personal skill does not matter too much. So you can just run around, have fun, stick on the tech, and you will get some loot anyway. In roaming, you can get punished very hard. That's the main thing there. Okay, that's the World vs. World for today, I guess. Is there anything I can do with the exotic Ascended gears that cannot be salvaged or sold? Not really. That's the sad truth. Like, all the stuff that you cannot sell or salvage, which just, if you don't need it, just throw it away. Yeah, that's the sad truth. I do that on my main account all the time, because I have no value for that, especially exotic items that I can't sell or salvage. It's completely useless. So I always sell them. Yeah, that's the sad truth there. There we go. Almost 200 gold just from selling that. Really nice. And we almost have the weapon unlock as well. So not bad, not bad. I would say +9 infusion is probably the best. I would not go like say +6 and then go to +7 and stuff. You can upgrade those. You will not lose value, but I think it's better to have, you will probably not have slots for all of them. So I will always say get the +9, +10 infusions that you can slot in and then go from there. Of course, I also went to +7 first, but because I knew I can upgrade them, but I think it's better to go for higher level infusions in the beginning. Like here +9, yeah. Yeah, was a good one, was a good one. Exactly, it's a run of shame 95% of the time, and that's not the best feeling in roaming. That's why I don't like to recommend it for a new player. To get this mount wheel, you have to get the Blish Hut. It's a Blish Hut add-on, and in there it's called the Mounts and More add-on. I have a guide about it on my YouTube channel, how to set it up. So be sure to check that one out. Mounts and More Blish Hut, yes. But yeah, I think that's also the end of today's stream. So thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. I have some really spicy videos coming up and some nice giveaways as well. So I wish you all a very good night. Take care and hope to see you in the next stream. Thanks a lot for watching.